welcome everybody to MogTalk. Today is October 14th, 2023. If you guys are unfamiliar with MogTalk, it's a show based around the Final Fantasy XIV community discussing everything from Savage Raiding to Chocobo Racing. And we have two amazing guests today to talk about a subject that's been very near and dear to me since its implementation, and I've recently been putting myself through a gauntlet of it as well. Ultimates. And so we have a little bit of time to kind of discuss this before another ultimate comes out. Probably a little over a year before we see another ultimate, at least. Actually, probably like a year and a half. A year. It's 14, 15 months, somewhere in there.
Oh, God.
It's gonna
be a long time, dude.
Yeah. With that being said, let me go ahead and introduce our guests, or have them introduce themselves. As they probably know them better than I know them. You know, maybe. I don't know. I know Arthars really well by now, but could you tell everybody who you are, dude? Arthars?
Oh, me first?
Yeah.
Hello, I'm Arthars. You guys always, whenever I'm being invited to MogTalk, I'm the loud guy. I'm the guy that YouTube comments says that they don't understand me. Yeah, that's me. Nice to meet you. Yeah.
Yeah. And to better emphasize this, Arthars has been very much into the ultimate scene ever since Savage, whatever, the hardcore PvE scene. On top of it, you've done a few intentional races, a few non-intentional races as well. You know, but has been part of this.
We'll talk about that later.
Yeah, we could talk about that. Yeah. But absolutely amazing guys. One of the most popular known figures in the Final Fantasy XIV content creation scene. I'm happy to bring him on again. He's been on here probably more than 30 times now. 10% of all the shows that we've done on MogTalk, I think you've been on, probably.
You sure?
I think
Did you have like a spreadsheet and you like tally it or something?
I did.
I don't think there's 30.
At 200, it was like 25. So I think I've had you on at least 5 episodes since then. Yeah.
I believe that, bro.
Yeah.
I don't believe that. You know, I sometimes always like, man, how come you? Okay. Every week when I watch MogTalk,
yeah,
I always ask myself this same question. It has become like a norm already. Every week when I see MogTalk, right, I always must ask myself, how come Frosty didn't invite me? You sure you invited me for 30 times?
It's been
that much?
Been that long? Damn. Okay,
dude. Yeah, you know what? That's all right. Oh, I know why there's a black line at the top of the screen. Hold on, I gotta fix this real quick before I go crazy. It's my camera that's clipping in there. There we go. I fixed it. All right. Sorry, completely random tangent, but yeah. Arthars, I invite you. You know what? You want to come on the show next week, Arthur?
I'm not gonna be. I mean, hey, this is Arthars live from FanFest. So thank you, Frosty, for inviting me. Now we are live. Here we have Zeno. Yeah.
That'd be good. That'd be real good, dude. All right. Sausage, can you tell everybody who you are as well?
Sure. Hello, everyone. I am Sausage Roll, but you guys can just call me Sauce. I'm an FF14 raider. I do a lot of raiding, especially nowadays. But primarily, together with the other helpers of the raid community, we've been like hosting the Ulti project, which is focused on helping people prog and clear the ultimates.
That which is freaking amazing. How many people have you worked to help clear ultimates?
For this season, because our season we have 4 seasons so far. Oh my god, I don't even know. But
you don't even know,
dude. There's I didn't like at the beginning of the seasons, like I didn't track him. I only started tracking him like season 2. But for this season 4, we have 406, I believe. So
406 people?
Yeah, 406 across all the LT.
This is gonna be a great show because when it comes to Ultimate, I have a very different stance, right? I mean, maybe in some talks, you know, sometimes when we talk about Ultimate here and there, I always I say it a little. I don't think people like really think too much about it. I think this show is going to be great because I want to know that perspective, and I got so many things I want to ask. And also, obviously, first time meeting you, right? So I think it's going to be like, I mean, maybe after this first time you will hate me. Who knows? But we'll see.
I'm looking forward to it, man.
Yeah, sometimes, you know, we have shows and the guests leave and they're like, I never want to talk to this person ever again. Yeah, absolutely that happens, I'm sure. But yeah, no, Sausage has been a part of the Ultimate community for quite a while and working to get people clears. Not me, apparently. Probably just told me to F off, so I've been struggling for about 6 months or so. But that's all right.
I also got stuff to talk to you regarding that, yeah?
Oh my god.
Yeah, my experience with Ultimate has been purely with the World Race until recently when we hit that $50,000 raised for that charity. And I said, because I didn't think we'd reach it, that I would do top, which is my first Ultimate ever. And I built up a static of people to do it. And it's been a little rough. Yes, Arthars.
Question?
Yeah.
So, I think I asked you this before. I just want to confirm again. This static, is it, does there have people, I mean, you changed maybe a few members here and there, right?
Yeah.
So this static now, is it still 8 out of 8? Not clear?
Nope. 6 out of 8. 6 out of 8.
Okay.
So it started 8 out of 8.
We'll talk about that later. Okay.
Yeah, it started 8 out of 8. But here's the thing, like this was just for
No.
Yeah.
We'll talk. I mean, if you want to get into it right now, sure. But
we'll get into it a little bit later. There's a
I want to make
story
sure that the
behind
settings,
the evolution.
I completely know the setting where we all stand because dude, this is the one show I look forward the most, and this is the one show I probably will. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well,
maybe talk
just
a lot more.
screw all the other shows I brought you on, right?
plan
They're
the
not
stream.
that important, all right? All the shows that I brought you on before, F them, you know? Screw that. Yeah. I get it.
Yeah.
But all right, well, yeah, no, the reason I wanted to have this show, the reason I want to have this talk is because Ultimates, they were implemented back in Stormblood, starting with UCOB, which was such it's sort of like an experimental thing, I think, at first for Square Enix. They wanted to see, you know, the reception and everything else, and this evolved into a mainstay. This is part of the rails for what we deliver content. It's not as consistent as like Savage, but we get usually at least 2, 3, right?
Surely.
But that's the goal, and I think what's usually being aimed for. And so it's exciting to see where it's going to go in the future, where it's currently at, and who this content really is for, because it's important. It really is important to Final Fantasy XIV. I think Final Fantasy XIV wouldn't exist the way it does right now without Ultimates.
Yep.
So, I mean, there's lots of different things to do in the game, but this is the PvP hardcore content. We even have guilds coming over from WoW that are world first guilds trying to do this content because they enjoy it so much, right? And spending, of course, you know, months and months trying to clear it themselves. But they're not spending the world race hours on it. But nevertheless, they make sure to do the content. So that being said, how do you guys feel about Ultimates within the game right now? Do you feel like Square Enix is handling them with the respect? Because there's been when UCOB came out, loved it. No one hated it. They were like, man, it's really long. But I think that was the biggest complaint about it. It was like, it's exhausting, just very long. And now we're at top.
I mean, I wouldn't really say it's a complaint. I just think because it's the first time, it's a feedback, right?
Yeah.
It's a concern, you know? I don't think it's a complaint, no.
No.
I don't think it's a complaint.
Yeah. But people have complained about top, which is the last iteration of Ultimate so far. A good bit.
Are we going into it right now?
I mean, we can.
Let's hear it.
You're eating right now, Arthars. I don't know. Are you able to talk? If you're hungry,
I don't think, okay. Honestly speaking, from my own perspective,
yeah,
I have zero complaint about top. I don't know why people complain about top. Top is amazing. I don't know why people complain about top. Top is just different. It might not be the same way you handle mechanic up to this point. It's a complete different way of handling mechanic. It's a complete skill set needed for the group and individually. I don't think, I mean, again, I think it goes the same for the UCOB duration. I don't think it's a hit. I just think it's because it's the first time we see it, and therefore it becomes like, we don't expect this, and therefore that we are uncomfortable with this, and therefore we hate it. I think that's what it is. Yeah.
Okay.
Because at the end of the day, I do think everyone that prog it, clear it, did it, I do think that they all enjoyed it. Now, if anyone, and I've seen before, if anyone were to come out and clear it and like, man, I hate this fight. Oh, this fight sucks. There's only 2 reasons. Number one, you just suck. Hey, today we are doing the ultimate show, right?
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
today we don't have to cuddle babies or make people happy. We are talking about ultimate. We are talking about the 0.1% most mentally fortified player here. Okay? What I'm about to say might upset you, might make you might agree, you might disagree. I'm not here to babysit. I'm not here to talk about casual. I'm not here to talk about zero mers. I'm not here to talk about 24 man. I'm here to talk about savage. People with mental strength. Okay? So if you handle the truth, get the fuck out. Okay? if after you clear TOP and you're like, man, I hate this fight. Oh, this fight is not enjoyable for me. Shut the fuck up. You enjoyed it. Okay? Because I guess this also is gonna touch up. This is gonna touch up something about Ultimate as well. Ultimate is not about the difficulty of the fight. If you think that how good mechanics are in Ultimate, and you think that how mechanically challenged the fight should be equal to how an Ultimate should be enjoyed, you are doing the wrong content. At least on early pro. If you are like server up progging, if you are like 8-man hardcore, you guys are going for 16 hours, 10 days straight. Trust me, difficulty of the mechanic is not why you're gonna enjoy Ultimate. It's the journey, it's the endurance, it's the consistency, it's the people around you. Can I rely on these people? This might be the first time, this could also be the second time, this could be the third time, this could be the fifth time, or this could be half a static, or like say for example TPS, half the static change. This is gonna be moving forward. Can I trust these 4 guys that we get? Moving forward, do I trust this new guy that we have? Can I rely on this guy in the long run? Not just this Ultimate, but the next 10 days and also the next Ultimate. I think it's more than that. It's more about bonding. It's more about building trust. It's more about building a community. I don't think it's about, this mechanic can be solved within 5 days. This mechanic, I think, is difficult. Nobody give a shit about what individual thing. At the end of the day, it's a well-made Ultimate because we all took X amount of days to clear the fight, and X amount of days is the expectancy days of how long it takes to clear an Ultimate. DSR, 11 days. 7 days, worth first. TOP, 8 days. 7 days, worth first, I don't remember. And then 12 days for me and stuff. I think it's within expectancy. The difficulty has nothing to do with it. Is the struggle consistent? Did Square Enix create another struggle, another scenario for you to struggle the same amount of time? And I think so far they did. Aside from T, I think T is where player skill reached the cap. And I think that is the strongest world first showing we ever seen. TPS took 3 to 4 days to clear. I think that's the strongest. I think that's a one-off anomaly. But I do think that even T, even though it been cleared, quote-unquote, earlier by statics and quote-unquote cleared earlier by world first, I still think T difficulty and the mental struggle is there. For me, that's Ultimate. Because if we were to just talk about mechanics, dude, these are fights that we'll be doing for years to come. UCOP has already been what, 5 years, 10 years, 6 years? I don't know, whatever, right? But if we were to talk about difficulty, then dude, UCOP is piece easy. But do you really judge UCOP's difficulty or UU difficulty because of what it is now? No. I personally judge difficulty based on its release. The moment it released, the moment it go through one patch, I don't care what type of patch it is. It could be, say, emergency patch, or just say a 0.1 patch, or just say a balance patch. 3-4 weeks later, I don't care. The moment it go through that one first patch where it involves any potency changes, for me, you guys missed out already. For me, the real ultimate test and the real ultimate clearers. Again, I know this might sound very elitist. But the real people that really did an ultimate, really did an ultimate, are the people who done it before any first major or minor patch happens. Because the moment potency changes comes in, the ultimate is not the same anymore.
Okay. I can kind of see that a little bit, right? So that's talking about the purest form of ultimate experience from your standpoint.
Yeah, sure.
And I have a completely different perspective of that. And I know Sausage, you probably do you agree with that perspective, or do you have a different perspective as well?
Mine's slightly different, actually. But I agree in the sense that Top was really good. Like, even people in our community, they think I'm crazy for saying that. They think that Top is the worst ulti because it's so strict, Like, even there are plenty of helpers. I'm saying I can count maybe in one hand helpers that like Top. I mean, we'll do it just for the sake of helping people out, but there are a lot of people that don't like it. But for me, I like it because it, like you said, it tests a different skill set. It's strict enough. Like, what I noticed, like, across all the OTs is that they're slowly adding way more body checks to the point that everyone in the party needs to know what to do to even pass the mechanic, right?
That's
To
what.
me-
That's a very good point. That's what
Yeah.
I like about most. Okay, see. Remember just now when I told you about trusting people, relying on people. See, we will never know what type of ultimate. I guess the moment DSR was introduced, our mind were blown. Expectancy was either being thrown out the window in terms of holy shit, Square Enix can do this to holy fuck, can we do this? I think it breaks all expectancy. Now, this is the part where I agree with you regarding top. Now, if somebody were to tell me, anybody, I don't care whether you are my current static, I don't care whether you are my good friend, I don't care whether you are my we were raid together. If you were to come out and tell me you hate T, I'm not gonna. I know I can't rely on you anymore because what's gonna happen if the next ultimate? And by the way, it's not your fault because we don't know what Square Enix is gonna put out. So let's just say if Square Enix put out in your books a bad ultimate, what's gonna happen? Are you gonna just lose motivation? Are you gonna just like, man, I hate this ultimate. I got no guys. I'm sorry that I play really bad because I just hate mechanics like this. This is not the ultimate I enjoy. What the fuck? So what about the other 7 people who thinks different? You see what I mean? If you were to tell me top is something that you don't like, I don't care whether it's real reason. Okay, bugs aside, but let's just say fundamental reason, mechanical reason. If you tell me that you hated it, I know I can't rely on you in the future. I know I can't rely on you on the highest level because let me tell you. Do you think world first player like every mechanic? Do you think world first proggers, do you think hardcore proggers will come out and tell you we love every mechanic, that's what we do day one? No, they are doing it for that struggle, for that achievement, for that test of limit. And the test of limit might come including testing something you're not comfortable with. And for me, that's an ultimate pure experience. These are the things that I look for, whether I trust someone to hardcore prog server up and play together or not. You know what I mean?
I guess.
Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. I guess in the perspective of like finding a team that you can trust, I can definitely see like why you would be like, yo, I can't trust this guy. He doesn't like the feeling of just, figuring it out as a group and whatnot, But there are also a lot of people, like I say that there are a lot of people that hate top, but there's also a lot of people that can do it. I can trust them to do it. They just hate themselves when they do it. You know what I mean? But like,
but would you want sometime like someone like that in a pure ultimate experience? Let's say you're going on server up.
Yeah, actually, yeah. I think for this ultimate specifically, that was the earliest I've ever cleared an ultimate on patch. Because we killed it maybe on the last day of week 2, and I agree. If someone, yeah, that is a record for our group at all. So it was really good. But. I think that I forgot what I was gonna say.
You had people who love the concept versus not.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that if I were to choose someone, like you said, in the rawest form of an early ulti clear, yeah, you're right. I want to have people, like if I were to choose the team, I want to have people who line up with the motivations, but also the skill set of it too, because if actually, not to get into it too much, but we actually had to like remove someone because they didn't line up with it. In fact, they kept on telling us, I hate this place, I hate this place, I hate this fight. And they started like just flipping on other people, and it was like, okay, well, this is what I mean. This is what Arthars means, I think.
Yes.
Yeah. So
you're right,
when the conversation of how the state of ultimates, how things are, and talk about how people are not liking top and everything, you guys think that is just sort of like there's players who just aren't meant for that really, really hard prog into top, and they just don't enjoy doing content that is difficult. It's
I wouldn't say again. I wouldn't say it's difficult because again, like I say, I don't think mechanically
they don't enjoy struggle.
Yeah, they don't enjoy the struggle, and I think ultimate is about the struggle. I think ultimate is struggle. The better, the more the suffering, the sweeter it is. The better it feels. And I think that is the pure ultimate experience. I don't think anybody go into an ultimate prog expect to be comfortable. I don't think anybody go into the ultimate expect it to be like, I can do this. I don't care who I'm playing with. I think everybody going to an ultimate is like, okay. I don't think people. Okay, first thing I want to ask you guys, right? Again, it doesn't matter which type of background or what scenario you are in. Even Frosty yourself, I want you to answer me this. When you do an ultimate, right? Is the first thing you think about can I do this ultimate or clear this mechanic? Or is the first thing you think about, can these 8 people just stay and do it together? Can everybody be on time? Can we be here sitting 5 weeks, 6 weeks, 8 weeks, 2 months, same 8 people with the same motivation and do it so that I don't have to go through changes? Which one do you think is more important? What's the thing you think most?
True.
Well, so let's just put this in perspective too. Both of you tackled this server up like 8 to 16 hours a day when it first came out, right? And we're talking about top in particular. Now, I've never done an ultimate before. You guys have done all the other ultimates though before you even tried top, right? Is that right, Sausage?
Sorry, can you say it again?
Oh, sorry, you've done all the other ultimates before you even did top.
Yes.
Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. So, just to give a little bit of a alter perspective on this, I never did ultimates. I've tried them. I never really got past phase 1 in T or in UCOB or anything, but just touched it, right? It was never really like a serious attempt. And the reason why is because I looked at that and I looked like, that is a mountain that I don't care to climb, right? I don't have the time. I don't have the ability to do it because I'd have to let go of all these other things going on in my life. And I'm super busy, and I accepted that because the content just wasn't for me at that point. And it wouldn't make sense to put myself through that hurdle. And the only reason, again, that I am currently tackling this content, my place has always been be available during the world race and try to create a platform that is fun and enjoyable for people who are tackling it in some way, right? And I've been working on that. And after that, I need to do the content. I did the part of Ultimate that I enjoy doing the most. And since we were raising money, and there's a lot of generous people out there, they raised the point to where I forced myself into an inescapable situation where I have to do it. And so for me to tackle Ultimate, that meant going at it in probably the most casual way ever. 3 nights a week, 3 hours a night. That is near nothing. And there's so much space in between that it's so easy to backtrack every single time. And it's probably one of the scariest ways to approach an ultimate because you could fall off board real quick. Now, when you're talking about having those same 8 people, I don't have the same 8 people in my group that I did when I started.
Yeah, I know. I've been watching it. Yeah.
I was like, hey, this is the goal. This is what we're doing. And the only thing, and since it was a fresh static, no one knew exactly how it was going to turn out. You don't really know how you're going to feel until you start doing it. And so after a little bit, someone's like, this isn't for me, and fell off. Okay, no hard feelings at all. We figured that out, got another person, and we went through a handful of different people as we started to prog up the point. And a lot of people don't like to do early prog. Now, I could be wrong. You guys could tell me, do you enjoy jumping into a group that is starting out fresh on top? It's sticking with them for a while, or do you enjoy being there for the
go
clear?
first? Yeah, Sausage can go first. Yeah, I want to hear. Yeah.
As like joining a group, like as someone who's cleared joining a group who's fresh, you mean?
Yeah, so you've cleared, but 7 other people haven't. How enjoyable is it to do that early prog at a very slow pace?
At a very slow pace. I guess it wouldn't be as fun if you're on your main job. At least there's some form of fun if you're alt jobbing or using a job you've never played before, because like you're entering and you know how slow it's gonna be because of like the casual hours and stuff. But I think, like, at least for me personally, if the people are cool, I'm down. Like if they're not assholes, I'm cool with it.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
it's definitely it's not that attractive.
When you're starting out with a group, it's so hard to start a casual group for an ultimate and have it kind of stick together. Now, as you start to get higher up in experience, it's hard to find people who are at those prog points. And so that's when you start getting those people who have already cleared before wanting to join and help. And that's why we have 2 of the members we do right now, is because they want to try an alt job. We're kind of close. They're ready for it because it feels so good to clear a second time. Does that make any sense? You clear the first time and then you join a group and you help other people clear. There's some level of like feeling of you get slightly reinvigorated from the first time you cleared it you don't get that feeling everywhere. And Sausage, you probably know this very well because you do it all the
Yes.
fucking time.
Yes, bro. It's
Yeah.
like reliving it, dude. Like it's weird because like at least my first clears to me aren't as hype as when I clear like help clear my friends or like people who have been like grinding for it so hard. Like you can tell they've been studying and stuff. Like, dude, like you just relive it in like a better light. It's so fun, dude. That's why we do it. It's addicting, you know?
And so that's where we are right now, and that's how we're approaching it. It is possible for a casual group, but we started in April. So it's been a very long journey. And now that we're bringing in people who are kind of experienced with doing the fight over and over again, a couple of members, it's probably going to go a little bit more consistent. And that's the hardest thing to do in top right now, is to build that in consistency. And you have to do it usually with people who are familiar with playing with you, because they'll start to understand how you're going to move and get more comfortable with moving with you on certain mechanics. And creating those rules so people getting used to those rules, do rules of the road for, you know, not passing defamation. And then you're like, well, do you drive to the left side or the right side, right? And so, like, I don't know if you guys know what I've talked about with P3, but yeah.
Yeah. That's correct. Yeah. And that is what transcends the difficulty of the mechanic. I think these are the things that, like, okay, a TLDR, right? I think doing an ultimate is an MMO experience. You really get to know people, and that doesn't include people in the static. That also include people in the community. I actually think that because of this common struggle, it actually bring people closer. Who gives a shit about Savage at this point?
Yeah.
Who gives a shit about try-harding Savage at this point? Get into a Discord. Oh yeah, let's talk about this. Unless you're a static going for speed runs, obviously. But let's just say you're parking or quote unquote get a clear. Who gives a shit about? Dude, if these guys suck and we don't clear within 3 rounds, we just disband. You know what I mean? Like, but ultimate, you don't have that, right? I mean, again, maybe you do. I don't know, but so it's very different, right? You know what I mean?
To give to add to your point, my group is the most bonded I have been in a static ever. Right? So when we end a raid night, I usually have to go to sleep. I have to do whatever. But then I'll like go off for like 30 minutes, an hour, and then I see them posting dog pictures and talking and hanging out. I mean, it's created like this whole little experience where this is not just a group of people trying to clear ultimate. It's a group of people who enjoy being around each other. And the goal is to also clear ultimate too. And so it's really insane what ultimate can do to a group of players who all are okay with the pace and the understanding of the progression that you're doing. Because if people are out of line with that, and that's why we lost a couple people early on, because they wanted to clear it faster or something else, right? Or they didn't have the time, it just didn't work out. But now we're pretty set with the people we have. It feels really good. It really does.
Hell yeah, man.
And it sucks if you don't get prog in a night, but when you get that prog, it feels so good. Yeah.
Yeah, I think definitely, like, some people will say that there's no content anymore, but like, just to refer to your situation, Frosty, I think the content is what you make it, and with who you play with, like, that's what makes it fun, you know?
Yeah.
So if you surround yourself with like assholes and shit who you don't, they generally don't care about you, or they want you to fail, like, you're not gonna have fun, you know?
Okay,
Clearly.
yeah, I mean that is something. I mean, when we're talking about content in the game, it's so relative, right?
Yeah, yeah, exactly, exactly.
To the person, because some people don't enjoy Ultimate at all, but you know what? They probably aren't even watching the show or give a fuck. So, but the thing is, Ultimate is a huge point. But people who aren't clearing Ultimate still love Ultimate being in the game, because they like to see the excitement of what these fights look like, and like what. Because they're not just fights. They put a lot of work into how it's designed, putting lore in behind how they build the models that they're putting in the fight too. I feel like, at least, they add a little, like the Dynamis part within top was a pretty big deal, right? And so it's like I don't know what it is. It's just what's the right word for it? But it is a perfect creation for people to experience Final Fantasy XIV. But a lot of people who don't enjoy raiding, they just watch it.
Yeah, that's fun too. Like, I think the cool thing is, you don't Like even if you don't want to do raids too, like you can still have fun with it. Just like when you host the world races and stuff, you're doing like at least to you, like you're part of being a part of Ultimates. Period. Like it's huge. Like everyone's excited to watch the tracker of like Frosty and MogTalk stuff. You know, it's
There's
like
at
who's winning
least
this time.
250,000 people who watch the world races.
That's
at least
huge.
250,000 people. Not at the same time, but overall unique people. I think there's at least 250,000 people who watch it.
Hell yeah.
So there's a huge amount of people who actually do enjoy seeing even Savage or Ultimate, whichever it is. And so I guess the point that we're coming to at the very beginning of the show is that Ultimate is just the ultimate experience for people who play Final Fantasy XIV. And it does a lot. Right, it does a lot for different people. Like I'm coming at it at a different perspective than both of you are coming at it. And I guess when we talk about what the current state is, you guys both believe top is where Ultimate should be, and you're perfectly fine. Or do you feel like it needs to change into something else?
I think Ultimate is fine. I want it to be more difficult. But it doesn't need to be straight up. Again, like I said, it's not straight up mechanic difficult. I mean, DSR and TOP are complete different Ultimate, for example. But they both, just based on statistics, just based on time, they are both equally as challenging. Some people like it, some people don't like it. But the reality is, based on statistics, again, I don't talk about my ass. I use statistics. Both are equally challenging in a different way. So I do want Ultimate to be more difficult and more Ultimate, obviously. And more means different ways. Because, I mean, to touch back a little bit on what you just said, Ultimate is not just about us players doing it. It's also players watching people who watch it. And then people who, whether they can or not do it, they can see what the game has to offer. And I think the most important thing, I think a lot of people didn't really, I don't see you guys touch on it, and I don't think a lot of people say it. I think what it showcased the most is how good the Final Fantasy XIV developers are. It's not about us. We doing the mechanic is expected. It is designed in a way to clear. No shit. If it can't be clearable, why the fuck design it? This is not Final Fantasy XI Absolute Virtue. You know what I mean? If they design something, it wants to be done. It's like a serial killer. If a serial killer go on a killing spree, he wants to be noticed. So I do think that for Ultimate, right, I think what it showcased the most for me, right, is how capable these developers are. Because especially this current situation we are put in, especially this situation. Look at Zero Man. Look at 24 Man. Look at the Dungeon 14 has become. They have become like the lowest form of difficulty in this content in the in the department, right? Dungeon department, 24 Man department. It is so even Savage, I would say. Anabasios is pretty good, but overall Savage experience is not the same as before, right? But it's like, you know, you kind of feel like, is the developers getting sloppy? Is the developers getting lazy? Do the developers still have it? Are we seriously going to see content become easier because this is turning into a casual game? Does the developer not care about us anymore? These questions start coming up every now and then, right? And then whenever you get an Ultimate, you are like, well, they still have it. These guys are insane. These guys are mental. These guys are psychopaths. It's just whether they are willing to do it or not. It's just whether Yoshi P want to unleash the beast or not. These beasts are hungry. They, you know, as a human being, I guess, you know, if you sit behind a desk, wow, today my job is really easy, huh? I just make an easy content. I get paid the same amount of money. Why the fuck not? But ask yourself, right? All these, you working adults in chat. How many of you go to work? How many of you are in your position and you are not happy with your position because you want to show your boss how much more capable you are? You want to get that pay rise. You want to get that recognition, not just from people in your team, not just from a boss, but people in the industry. How your portfolio become better because you can do something that nobody think you could. And I think that's ultimate. I think this developer has shown us that it's not that they don't want to. It's not because they can't. It's just whether Yoshi P wants to do more ultimate and expansion. Now, Yoshi P told me at FanFest, each ultimate takes about, 9 months, 9 months, 1 year to make. As we do it, you know that although, doing it eventually, reclearing is easy, but to go through all this planning, how they create micro pixel movement, split second decision, and make it clearable, because at the end, it needs to be clearable, right? So that players can have a struggle, yet clearable, but within a time frame. It's not easy, the balance, basically. I agree. I'm like, yeah, I agree. But personally, on a selfish note, I do feel like 3 would be best. I mean, every odd patch, you get 1. I think that's perfect, right?
Yeah.
And the harder, the better because of longevity. And players need to understand, it's not just whether you can clear it this patch or not. Like you see Frosty and Sausage is talking about how, they are doing this already for 6 months. Sausage has a season going on helping people clear. It's not about whether it can be clear now. This content, this is the only content in Final Fantasy XIV for end gamers that withstood the test of time. Whether it's shitty balance, whether it's a game become easier to play, past expansion, 20 level over the cap, coming 30. If they don't do anything about UCOP and Wu, which I will ask Yoshi P about Unreal Ultimate in FanFest if I get a chance. Like, I feel like, it's a content that if you can't enjoy on day one or when it released, you can enjoy over the years to do it, and then from there you work towards it. Like, yesterday, I think I was talking to Zepla. It's like mythic rating in WoW. It doesn't matter how good you are in WoW. You are never going to get into Liquid. You're never getting into Echo. And in fact, you know what? I don't think any other guilds can play like Liquid and Echo. The way they play is just no one else can. No one else can. No other guild can even come close. Now, does this mean that you can't enjoy mythic rating? No. You just join a mid-core group. You still go at it after, the world first clear nerf, or you join a casual group. You go at it when they butcher the boss every patch. Every patch, they butcher one boss until, the season is going to end, and they butcher the last boss. Then even casual guild at the last 1 week can get cutting edge, right? So you can do that like that. And then from there, you work on, go into the battle guild, go into the Hall of Fame guild, go into top 50 guild, go into, like in World of Warcraft, being top 10, top 50, top 100, top 500 is an achievement. But in Final Fantasy XIV, it's either top 3 or world first or nobody give a shit, right? So I do think like in Final Fantasy XIV, even if, you can't do it on week 1, I think that is a progression. Like for Frosty, I want to ask, right? Let's just say after this ultimate now, you say that you're being forced to do this ultimate because of the bet or the stake that you put out.
Yeah.
Will you attempt the next one in the future? Let's just say now you're a full-time streamer, right? Let's just say one day you want to take the next step. One day you got time, your kid is older, you got more time. Maybe one day you will be like, hey, you know what? I want to make an ultimate static. Hey, you know what? I want to join a mid-core static. Hey, you know what? Fuck the world race. I'm going to be part of that world race. I'm going to be part of it. Maybe it can happen. It can happen. And I think Ultimate is the only content in this game that allows people to do that. Because, dude, who gives a shit if I don't dare to join a Savage Pro group because I never done the previous one? You know what? I'm going to make a static to do Gordius right now, and then maybe 10 years down the line, I will do the latest Savage. What the fuck? That doesn't exist. That progression doesn't exist in this game. You know what I mean? You get fucking crafted gear, you are first to raiding, you go into a group, you go Savage raid, or you just jump into PF. You know what I mean? There's no gap, there's no test, there's no ladder to climb, right? Yeah. But Ultimate is the only one. So I do think, this content being there, even though a lot of people always say that, this is just for the 0.1. But I at this point, I think that's a meme. Again, not talking out of my ass, right? Based on statistics, you watch on Twitch, the day until, it's not even just after Twitch first clear. You can see even a month, within the 1 month, you can see that the directory is populated. It's wean off over time, obviously, but you can see the directory is populated. People want to watch it. They don't do it. They might do it after they watch it. They might do it after, 1 or 2 months later. They might wait because, my favorite raider is now in a battle group, but he or she promised that after he or she clear, she's going to make a group for me. That's also awesome. You watch. It's like a Super Bowl. You don't play football. It's like World Cup. You don't play soccer. That doesn't mean that you don't watch it. That doesn't mean that the stadium is not packed and people don't enjoy it. And then at the same time, those people also play football, right? They play on the casual, they play with their family, they play with their friends. They're not going to be Cristiano Ronaldo or Messi, but that's not going to stop them from enjoying the sport. So I think Final Fantasy XIV Ultimate, I don't know whether Yoshi P planned for this. I honestly don't think they did. And now, because I think they realized that, Square Enix have no proof, no evidence sometimes when they make a decision. They sometimes do things out of the ass. For example, Criterion without reward. They think that the player would take it because they did it for Ultimate. That's why he said that, for Criterion, we think that there's no need for reward. We do think that a title and a glamour, even though it's not UCOP level title, it's not Ultimate level glamour, a fucking earring, but he thinks that the players who love the challenge would just do it for the challenge. I'm like, that is too arrogant. And you know what? You have shown. Yeah. It have shown that for a Savage, for a 4-man content, that's not the right approach. So now they are making changes, right? So I do think that after Ultimate, they do realize that the content is important. And that's why we get DSR. DSR is, and I think will, forever be the only ultimate that they did. If there's anything that I never seen before Square Enix and the developer did for this game, it is DSR. Not only the story, the twist, we only got 18 minutes, guys. We can't have 2 dragon song telling in the 18 minutes. They do the very quick in and out, right? They realize it's not about how you do the transition properly. It's just about getting the point across and the mechanic and the struggle and a short summary, and you tell 2 dragon song. I'm like, you know what? For an 18-minute fight, I don't think we will ever see something like that again. And then from that into TOP, how they integrated dynamics, which is also quite an important part of the lore. No spoilers, I guess. Into that, it's like, okay, that's pretty cool. How Omega discovered that and how it become this strong and provide. Do I give a shit about all this narrative? I know I don't, but I do think that the developer now know that, hey, we can not only make a fun fight, we can also make it like lore dependent. Sometimes we throw a puzzle in there. Yo, go and read, go and do your Alexander MSQ. Where is the true heart? You know what I mean? So I think that they are very creative. How they make us save Hoshifon, I think that is very creative. How they tell another story, I think it's very creative. And I do think that even if you're not a raider, I think you should appreciate it, because DSR and TOP is the only time, and I think that I hope what Yoshi P says is true. I will test him on EU Fan Fest. That how they say they always watch our stream. That's why I take it on a personal note. Every time I clear the ultimate, I always thank the developers, because I do think that their recognition needs to be, their hard work needs to be known. I do think that it's crazy how they can still do it. Now, obviously, as a long-term player, as an end gamer, I want to see more. To answer your question again from the beginning, I want to see more ultimate. I want to see more difficult ultimate, because I think progressively the players are ready for it, right? And then for those people who are not,
man.
I don't have time.
I don't know if people are ready for more difficult. I think they hit kind of where the community is at the point of like, okay, we will not break and still do it.
At this
I
point,
think at some point they'll start to break. I think players might. I don't know. If they make jobs easier, then maybe they can make the fight harder. Which the jobs are pretty easy now, but that's kind of one of
they
the
don't have to
balance
make it
points.
harder. They just have to be consistent with what they are doing.
Yeah, I think it's natural selection too. I think like eventually the people who won't feel it anymore, who can't do it, they won't do it, or they'll give them a goal to get better. And I think just more difficult content is good. I think in general.
Yeah, I mean,
more difficult content is good.
They could do it in different styles too, though, right? I mean, instead of doing 3 ultimates, they could do 2 ultimates and then a Savage Alliance or something like that, or like some sort of like high-level 24-man content.
Oh, I have that question for him. Like, we go from dungeon into Criterion, Savage into Ultimate. I do think that 24-man, the way it is now, I think 24-man needs a Savage. I think 24-man can have a Savage.
It should. There's no reason not to, right? After 4 months.
It's too easy now already.
This is a slight tangent.
Yeah.
This is a slight tangent, but going 4 months after Savage comes out, just do a 24-man Ultimate. You get 1 piece of loot from it a week. Or not Ultimate, 24-man Savage, and then you get 1 660 piece or whatever current tier is with Savage from that, and then you have some level of horizontal gearing, and people have something to work for in some way. I think it could be interesting for people.
Yeah, and then like after that, there's an Ultimate that gets released. It's like, if you can if they have the manpower, that'd be cool, right? So you enter with a Savage, you got a gear for BIS for Ultimates, and then the Alliance raid comes out. I forget the timeline of it, but if an Alliance raid comes out, it makes it easier to get
Alliance raid comes out
gear.
Before Ultimate by like a month.
Before Ultimate, right?
Like 1
so
month,
like
about a month difference.
Yeah. So like I guess in my copium brain, right? Like if we could get Savage Alliance into Ultimate every time, that would be crazy. Like that would be like, I mean, it's a fanfic at this point, but that would be crazy.
It is. I don't think you're on copium, or if
so?
you are in copium, me and you are in the same copium tank, because dude, it's been 10 years. I do think that they can do it. Now, again, this is not being selfish, or this is not being, being unrealistic. I think they can do it. They have the talent, they have the people. You know what I mean? Like,
I was gonna ask.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I was gonna ask you, Arthas too. So I know that Yoshi P was working on FF16, and there are some people that say, "Oh, this is why the Savage tiers are this way now because he was busy." What do you think? Do you think that like now that it's done, you think it's gonna go back?
You know,
to, like
at the
normal?
very beginning when they announced 16, the first thing that came to my mind is, well, 14 is gonna suffer. That's the first thing I think. Because you know what?
Me too.
Dude, human nature. There is no way. I don't care how good you are. I don't care how capable you are. Because it's not just about you as a one person. It's also about who you pick. It's also about managing. You are a human. We human are being restricted by time, right? How motivated you are, how energetic you are. That's age. That's also time. And then we have 24 hours. We human need to sleep an average of 6 to 7 hours. How the fuck can you work on 2 projects? Now, he did it in 1.0. He was able to run update 1.0 while in the back end create 2.0. So now, if it's any other person on the straight up first impression when he announced that he's going to be the producer of 16, I was like, oh, fuck, then 14 is going to suffer. I don't think 14 will die. I think 14 is going to suffer. But then because of 1.0, I give him a benefit of the doubt. I'm like, nah, this guy is different. This guy did it before. And this is the reason why, to me, this guy is special. This guy is unique. There's a reason why people like this guy. There's a reason why people give this guy so much respect. There's a reason why so many people follow this guy to the end of time in terms of game development. I think he can do it. Now, that was in, pre-Endwalker. Now, slowly, after you look at the quality is still there, but you look at the quality of Endwalker and overall, not just MSQ, and then you are like, I do think that 16 played a part into why 14 become like that. And then now, I reached the point where I'm like, you know what? I'm so glad 16 is out of the way now.
Yeah.
Now, finally, we can now, Leo, I don't think, I know you're gonna get a lot of YouTube shitty comment on this.
Yeah.
Endwalker is probably the lowest point of Final Fantasy 14. These 10 years, right? I think, right? Personally, right? This 10-year mark a very sour note. This patch 6.5 mark a very sour note on how a 10th year, a saga, and this expansion end. Because Final Fantasy 14 is not moving forward at this point. Now, I hope that 16 is the reason why. At this point, I hope 16 is the reason why. Because I don't think Dawn Trail will get any worse. The only one thing that I think Dawn Trail will be worse, is a story. Because it's a brand new beginning. I don't expect them to come up with a bang. Fellowship of the Ring is boring, right? Until you get the 2 towers and you get the Return of the King, then you get like, holy fuck, right? But, I don't blame them. I do think that the only one thing that maybe people will feel like it's not as good, but I think it's going to be quality, is a story. I do think that every other content is going to be improvement. Whether it's quality or quantity, I do think so. Now, you see, I'm in a copium with you right there, Sausage.
Yeah.
So here's the deal. I mean, if the tangent on Endwalker being lowest point too, and Final Fantasy 16 playing a part and all that stuff and everything, not completely relevant to Ultimates, but it's worthwhile to mention real quick. Is that
the only one content I'm not worried at all is Ultimate. That is the only content actually in this game. I do think that the developer does not,
That's true.
Social media is a fucking mistake. Let me tell you, internet and its technology, its advancement, it's a fucking mistake. Games back then, the developer don't give half a fuck, or maybe they want to, but they can't, which is, kind of like, I guess it's a happy coincidence. They have an idea how this content can be tackled. They have an idea how player needs to be how good they are to play our game. So when they release it, there's no patch, there's no feedback. It is what it is, $60 in a casing. You buy, you go home, you plug it in, you play, that's it. You clear it or not, it's too difficult for you or not. Holy fuck, man, I cannot kill Seymour in Mount Gaggers there. Holy shit, man. That's your problem. The developer is not going to patch it easy for you. That is your problem. Get good, bitch. But nowadays, I think social media, there's so much feedback. They decided that, okay, it seems that our game is more catered to the casual. Let's make 24 men like that. Our game is more for the casual. Let's make Zeromas like that. But hey, it is what it is. It is what it is. Whether you believe it or not, it is truth. Again, like I say, 6.5 is the lowest point for me in this game. I didn't expect 10 years later I get to see Zeromas, one of the, if not the easiest EX Primal I ever seen. And then 24 man, one of the, if not the easiest, or even I would go as far to say the laziest 24 man they ever made. I thought Nier was rock bottom. We just hit new rock bottom. in this new 6.524. Man, again, not talking about aesthetic. Aesthetic is fine,
Wow.
but
I have different
going
opinions.
deeper
I have different
into it.
opinions.
That's cool. That's cool.
Yeah,
But my
yeah.
point is, at the end of the day, ultimately something they didn't back off, because DSR and TOP, they fuck you straight up in DS. There is
Yeah.
no negotiation. We want this game to be this difficult. We think you need. We made it so that you can clear. We even make it. To be honest, I do think that they make TOP easier than DSR, and we still struggle at it. Why? Because they give you all the tools you need. That you don't need third party. You just need to open your eyes. And this is where the complaint begins. I'm sorry, man. I told you, man. I think this is for me the most important show for me on MogTalk.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
You motherfuckers in PF, or even you guys doing proc, and you guys are using auto marker, I have zero respect for you. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to be a Yoshi P simp, but I do agree with Yoshi P. If you need help to clear an ultimate, congratulations on the clear. But you are the reason, you people are the reason why I don't PF or help ultimate. Because you guys are not going through the real integrity of ultimate, which is the struggle. Ultimate is not about, ultimate was never about, okay, I say at the beginning of the show, ultimate was never about let's get the job done. Ultimate was never about how to make this mechanic easy. Part of the journey is the struggle. And if you use all these tools, and I do think that TOP is the one that people use the most tools, I got zero respect. Congrats though. I do think it's an achievement though, but I do not want anything to do with it. And there's a reason why I don't PF Wu. Just because of Titan Jail auto marker. That's why I never, people always ask me, how come you don't do Wu? Is it because you hate it? Yeah, I hate it, but also for another reason where, PF use auto marker. Dude, DSR is different. I want to do more DSR. But for me, because DSR was such a highlight in my rating, ultimate, and streaming, DSR surprisingly was the ultimate that I only cleared 3 times. I do not want to go back to replay again. Unless it's like super specific situation, friends need me, or I want to really help a friend, I will do it. But ultimate, DSR is one that I never touch, because for me, that was a beautiful moment. And I don't want to, number one, taint it. I heard how easy it is. Now how there's no more DPS check. Again, congrats though, but your experience and my experience is completely different. I cannot be a hypocrite. You guys are happy. Now, you guys are really happy, right? When you clear for people, right? You have a Discord, you are season 4, you clear for 500 people. I know, and I genuinely think that you are happy. I don't think I can. I really don't think I can. Not because I'm a piece of shit, or I am insensitive, or emotionally numb human being. I just can't, because my experience was just insurmountable. Now,
raw.
if I help a few friends, sure. But then again, my expectation would be like, yeah, guys, nice clear. I'm not going to shit on them like, oh, it was harder back then. I'm not going to shit on them. But in a general settings, I just cannot put myself in a PF setting. I just cannot put myself in a Discord where I just randomly close my eye, join and help a group, because I know there's a lot of shenanigans in there. I know somebody's going to use auto marker. I know people will use auto marker. Yep. And I'm like, nah.
So
I don't think, I mean...
For
Here's
sure.
the thing, like in Sausage, I know so you're gonna end up hating Arthars. He was right.
What? No.
I think like when we're coming, like when I did this group, it was very particular. This is a group that doesn't use auto markers. This is a group that doesn't use anything that would make the fight easier. Now, doing analysis on the fight, data, DPS tracking, what am I gonna do, right? That's just literally part of the rating scene. There's nothing you could really do about it. It's not really making the fight easier. It's just giving you information. Now, if you have stuff that's telling you exactly where to stand, that's fucked up. And if I've seen people do that, and they move so fucking early for some of these mechanics that is literally near impossible to know the exact pixel.
It's so sus, right?
I don't rate. You could see people who are using this really easy shit to get through it. And I don't want to be a part of it, because I want to clear with my group. I want to clear the way that I feel it makes it fun. And it's been fun, right? And the people I have in my group too.
Frosty, I completely agree with you, right, Frosty? I completely agree with you, right? But, again, I guess I will play my own devil's advocate. At the end of the day...
Let Sausage play your devil's advocate.
What? Wait, what?
Sausage be your devil's advocate.
Oh, I was gonna say, like, yeah, I completely understand, like, the thrill of doing it without AM and stuff, because, like, our group also, like, week 2 was our best, and, like, it's such a huge highlight to us, because it's like that's the fastest we've ever cleared something. AMs weren't a thing yet and stuff. But I guess like what people are saying in chat, the raid community as a whole in a randomized lobby, I think they've picked up, like even in DSR, like if you ever try DSR, people have made, I don't know who makes them, but people have made AMs and stuff for the almost every single fight now, for the sake of like catering to a bigger, like a bigger pool of players. Maybe people who don't actually care enough about getting the raw experience, but it does make it like at least easier for them to understand and stuff. For our project, like it's not about pushing plugons or whatever. Like for me, I play the game completely like vanilla. I don't care about that shit. But it's more about like offering the experience,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
we are like lining up with the PF experience, and we're doing what PF does, so we can help people that do like majority of that kind of like activity. Does that make sense?
And you see, it makes sense. It makes sense because again, like I say, I want to play my own devil's advocate because I do think, right, I can't expect everybody to be able to, number one, have the time, and number two, have the luxury to be surrounded with people with a similar motivation, which again, like I say, is the hardest part about hardcore ultimate prog, right? I don't expect them to have that. And I also respect the fact that you read out the resources that I have. You also want to clear an ultimate, but sadly for you, you are never going to find the static. Sadly for you, you are never going to find the 7 other people that that I have, and then you will end up having to settle for PF. And then, to be honest with you, huge respect to the people. Now, I know that it sounds very harsh when I say that, but huge respect for people who stick through PF and get a clear. Because let me tell you, you are struggling more than me. Number one, you are inefficiently using your time. And number two, these motherfuckers in PF sometimes are trappier than what they say they are in terms of their prop point. So I do think that you went through more suffering than me. And because of those suffering that you suffer more than me, I'm going to give you a pass that if a group has auto marker and going to make your experience better, go for it. But what I'm trying to say is don't expect me to be muddled in that. Because I get asked so many times, how come you don't do Ultimate PF? How come you don't help clear for one? I'm like, dude, number one, Ultimate PF is boring to watch. Okay? Number two, you said earlier, hey, Arthars, how do you think about if a group is new and you as a veteran, would you come in? And I think Sausage agreed with me. That's why I didn't say much. Dude, no, it's boring.
Yeah.
Dude, it's suffering.
Yeah,
like, dude, I'm just going to stuck in there for living liquid for like 3 hours. Why the fuck would I want to waste that time? There are other groups out there that could use my time and we can get one more. Now, that doesn't mean that I won't come back to help you once you proc later, but you need to understand, right? I do not want to do that. And then number two, add on, I do not want to get in English, controversialized or something. Yeah. I don't want anything to do with it.
Early prog is the hardest piece of content to do, and
it is.
Just because so many the people who would want to help you that are veterans are less inspired to help that early prog, and also so you have to depend on people who are kind of miserable. I tried Party Finder for top when it in the first month or so after it came out, and it was horrible. It was literally one of the worst experiences because it was always trying to get to P2, and then people dying. And they don't even know why. They just start assuming stuff, and they just start making up crap, and they start getting angry, and they're like, "Man, I can't believe this asshole, let us die." I'm like, "You didn't do the mechanic right. You died. Someone took someone's tether. That's the reason people die." But they don't see it, and they're not looking around to fully understand it. They're just clueless half the time, and it's bad. Ultimate and Party Finder. The early prog is pretty bad. When you get into the later
can I say this? Can I say this? I think that Ultimate in PF is a mistake. Now, when I say in PF, I mean some random guy put up a PF and then 7 random guy joined. That is a mistake. That is PF. Now, if you are a behind closed door, you have a Discord, and then you put up the PF, and then you guys do some organizing, in the Discord. Let's just say you guys got. I've been in those Discord, like in EU. I've been in one of those Discord. Very, very well moderated. People in there take it very seriously. People in there, when they say we need one to get to last phase, we need this person to proc this part. Those people that join and sign up, they have the credentials. People do checks. People do FF log checks. people vouching for them, like, okay, this guy is not lying, you can take this guy. And then when the group happen, those are very good. They are not as good as statics, but they are like very efficient. Like time efficient, those Discord, those backend Ultimate community, those are fucking solid. Now, when I say PF is a mistake, I don't mean those. I don't consider those as PF. I consider those as an Ultimate closed door community. When I say PF is a mistake, I mean today I'm home. I want to try an Ultimate. Yesterday I went in and I got the P1. I think I can put P2. You put P2, and then the other 7 people is also like, oh shit, there's a P2. Let me go in and try. And then that one turns out don't even pass the first mechanic. Those are mistakes. Those are mistakes.
So
the pure PF is a mistake.
I get in this argument all the time. Ultimates don't really get cleared in like the true sense of what you would expect.
I know what you want to say. I know what you say.
Like Savage, you get
I want to see what you. I want to see what you think. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. No. I mean, it's in Savage. You get random people in there. You'll eventually clear it. It can be painful, especially near the end. Ultimate, you can't do that same kind of random stuff. The backbone of clears that happen in Party Finder is always for people who exist in Discords. And
yes,
it may not, the person who created the Party Finder might not be like in one of those Discords, but the people who join to help out, they're in a Discord. They're all organized.
100%.
They are built to help
100%.
clear. And they just, they
I don't believe, now you caught maybe, but let's just say current Ultimates, or even maybe T to a certain extent, because I do think that T is the only one that transit perfectly from level 80 to level 90, right? But for UCOP, I don't include those two. Let's just say T onwards. I don't believe for a split second a pure 8-person who do not know one another, just get home, wants to play the game, go into a PF and clear T onwards. I don't believe that. I believe that all those people that join in are people either who friends of friends, people in the same community, or maybe streamer and their viewers coming to help. Those clear for what? Hey, PF can clear. I got my clear in PF. You think you are in PF, you are not. You got carried by the other 7 people. Again. Ultimate has got a lot of different levels. You're clear. Every Ultimate people clear, right? Even though you get the same glamour, even though you get the same title, your achievement is not the same. But I'm not gonna shit on you and say that, it was harder on week 1. No, I don't want to say that. I'm not really that guy. But personally, you need to understand that. If you can understand that, you know where I'm coming from. But if you don't understand that, and then you go up to Frosty and say, Frosty, why are you doing this in PF, in your static? You should just go PF. I got my claim PF. It's completely doable. Do me a favor. Shut the fuck up or eat my dick.
Those fucking, those fucking sauce legends, dude. They get so egotistical.
Oh,
exactly.
Oh God, don't get me started with that shit, bro. That's a whole conversation, man. Oh my God.
No.
Yeah.
No. I mean, but you, Sausage, you're kind of on that point to where you're bringing in veterans to kind of help people get through the stuff that they wouldn't be able to do on their own. They're in those kind of struggle positions to where they don't have the friends, they don't have the resources, they don't have anything else to help them get through it. But your goal is to those people who are inspired to try to do it, put them in a situation where they can, right?
Yes. Yeah, that's the goal of the project for sure. Like it used to be, we only do clears. If you feel like you're ready, we'll help you out. But then we've been growing at a pretty good rate, and now we have a prog squad, and now even the clear squads are helping out prog people. Like we have people early on in the fights. The prog squad helps them get to the middle or late, and then the clear squads pick them up from there, and then they clear from there. So I would say, I mean, to Arthars, to you, like your PF definition, that is not PF to you. But these are the people from PF. So we're trying to help them by kind of like showing them this is how it would be.
PF. You're taking them out of the PF.
It's like we're trying.
Yeah,
exactly. So we're trying to show them that, hey, if you yourself as an individual, if you study the mechanics, you come prepared, you know deep down that you're not going to trap yourself or the other people in your party. If you come in and if you're down, you can give us a shot, sign up. You will notice how fast your prog will be. Because no one else is making mistakes because they know it. But if you know your piece of the puzzle, you can prog going from, let's say, like Wrath of the Heavens in P5 DSR straight to P7, and that's happened to like 2 people so far already.
Yeah, and that is fine. But if that guy were to go out and tell someone else, guys, I did it in the PF, we proc really well, I don't know why
That's a
your
lie,
group is
yeah.
trapping, that's a lie.
That's
It's
a lie.
creating
That's
a
a lie.
twisted perspective, a
Yeah.
completely twisted perspective of what
Yes.
players expect. Because the only issue that really causes is that players are like, oh, well, you know, I could do this. And they get in the party finder and they just have a whole fucking miserable situation, right? And they have to figure out, you don't just don't throw it up in Party Finder and hope that things work out. You actually have to study the fight. You have to find people who will help and then go through it. It's not just 8 random people who are all in the exact same prog point who don't really communicate with each other getting together and progging. It's a little bit more advanced than that.
I'm sorry, man. I want
Yeah.
to apologize, man. I think some people in chat are getting upset already. I'm gonna apologize. For me, I put Ultimate on the pedestal. The way I look at Ultimate and the way you guys look at Ultimate, the way you guys think what a clear is, you guys think what a proc is, you guys think where you stand in terms of as yourself. I guess you can call it egoistic, but for me, right? Especially somebody, you know, someone in chat was telling me you didn't PF, so you don't know what you're talking about. Have you tried World Proc? Have you tried hardcore proc? Have you tried staying up 16 hours, do it raw? No. Then you yourself don't know what I'm talking about as well. You yourself don't even know what you're talking about. You don't know the experience to even know what I'm talking about. For me, I got the highest experience. I know what's going on down there. You are down there, you don't know higher up. You don't know why I say that. That is the difference.
All right. I want to say, I
put Ultimate on the pedestal. I do. I 100% put Ultimate on the pedestal because I don't think I dare to say this, maybe, you know, kind of like high ceiling here. I think 80% of the people in this community that clear Ultimate don't really fully understand what an Ultimate is really about.
In a world race perspective.
Sorry. I don't think
an
you
early
do.
clear prog.
You clear the fight.
Yeah.
You clear the fight. Congratulations. I don't think you know exactly the full, the real essence of what an Ultimate stands for. I don't think you do.
100% you're talking from a perspective that a lot of people don't really understand, which is the blind go in and not understand anything, figure it out. That is a completely different experience than what most people face when they do
people
any
have
content.
no idea.
It is different and it feels so good. And I only get to taste it every once in a while, right? And so a lot of times when I try a fight for the first time, I look up 0. I don't know anything. And at least I get a taste of what it is to get to that first wall and try to figure that out without having information fed to me. That is, but I can't clear it that way because I can't find enough people who are willing to do that kind of prog with me. It's very hard to get into that level of prog. And you have to be in a life situation that allows you to do that too. It's not just you want to do it, make it happen. Your life has to be able to allow that to happen. And when we're talking about my perspective, like I'm gonna let you know, I rarely cry in this game at all. The story, people will tell me, like, we get to a certain point and they're like, oh, I'm in tears, you know, this point was so sad for me. I'm like, it was all right, you know, it was good. You know, exactly what I expect from an anime or like a JRPG or something else. Nothing that's too crazy. I don't get as emotionally involved with that. When I clear Savage, I'm like, it feels good. When I clear Ultimate, I'm gonna fucking cry. I tell you, I've put so much work into it, and it's been such a fucking journey to me. Like, this is big for me, and in my perspective, this
it's not
is
just for you, Frosty.
It's a huge clear.
This journey is also for us, people who watch you. See, you know, even though I don't say a lot in your chat or even DM you or stuff like that, trust me. If you ask me, I will help you. But I'm not gonna offer you that, and I don't want you to suddenly go for that because that's why at the beginning of the show or even before the show I asked you about the status of your static because I think that you're gonna savor this experience again. Is it week 1 proc? No, but I think that you have already set yourself and put yourself in a situation that I do think you're gonna enjoy. Once you clear this, you're gonna enjoy. You're gonna enjoy it very, very different. So and then if somehow you go into PF the next time. And then you see those auto markers start popping up. You will know what I'm talking about. You do not want anything to do with that.
We made those rules that we're not going to do any of that stuff. And, you know, when we're at the point we're at right now, I know for sure I could probably go find 7 really amazing gamers and get cleared through it faster than I would in my group. But I don't want the clear like that right now. I want the clear because of these 7 other people that are with me and I want them to feel that same thing. And now, again, a couple of people have come in and they're helping, but they're still friends, right? They're friends that I'm working together, and we're still struggling to overcome the barriers that are still left to clear this fight. And it would be an injustice for my way of doing it, right, to not have that feeling of clearing that together with these people I've been working with for so long. And so that's why I'm willing to spend another whatever amount of time is left to get that clear than to just go ahead and check it off. It became way more than just clear ultimate. It was to clear ultimate with the group and the people I've bonded with so far.
And that right there is an ultimate experience. Yeah. That right there is an ultimate experience. It was never about the clear. It was never about
it
doing
was
the
at
mechanic
first.
correct.
It was like, I want to clear this, but the struggle, it did so much. Like, this ultimate has really done a lot for my perspective on working together with a group of people. Because Savage, I don't do anything with static. It's pure party finder. I prog 100% in party finder, and I try to join parties that are full. I don't make a rule against it or anything, but I try to join parties that I can join in, and so people can't like just jump in real quick, right? Just be like carry through it. I don't care if people do it or not, but I do go for the quicker fill groups, and it's just with random people figured out. That struggle makes Savage fun for me. I enjoy doing Savage as healer and party finder because it's just a mess and nonsense. All right, it is so much fun to me. But this is a different thing with ultimate completely.
I think like, especially in a PF perspective, it's very individual. I don't know if this is a word, individualistic, where you mostly think about yourself, right? The way you can perform your piece of the puzzle, and then you move on to the next party, and then you move on to the next party until you kill it, right? So I think like people are saying in chat, like there's prestige in clearing the fight without AMs, with a party not getting help from clear, but with a full 8 out of 8 stack, and 100%, okay, there is huge prestige. That's like a huge ass project all of you and your friends worked on, right? But if you're someone who, say for example, doesn't have the time to be in a static, or maybe they just don't like dealing with a static setting because there are specific like problems with statics, with like personality problems, maybe, you know, they don't get along, whatever, any reason, whatever. These people are the people in PF, right, who can't seem to meet their goals because they don't have the same things we do. We, like you Frosty, you have a team of friends. You are having fun. Eventually you will kill it, and that will be fucking gold, right?
Yep.
Arthars is like world racer, right? Like you kill it ASAP. Like we all watch your streams, and then people like me, we make resources on it if the strats are really good, and then we send it. Yeah, and we send it to the PF squad, right? But for people who aren't as like blessed to have these situations, they're the ones that we're trying to help. Yeah, like they're the ones who are struggling to even finish the fight because they themselves, as an individual, they prepared, but like they can't get it. So like for people to say that people who have been working hard to prepare and to clear, if their clear isn't as valid as the other methods, I don't think that's the case. It's a different victory, but it's still something you should be proud of.
Yeah, for sure. It's still an achievement. Like I said, even though whatever all I say sounds harsh, it is still an achievement. But what I'm trying to say is, do understand why I don't want anything to do with it. It's not because I'm not happy for you. You know what I mean? Of course I'm happy for you.
Yeah.
It's just not something that, you know, why didn't you come and do it for me? Hey, Arthars, could you want to help me? No, I don't want to. But why not? Why not? Because you are using automarker. But I just want to clear, I understand. There are people that will do that for you. Not me. Like, exactly. How come you don't do DSR again? You say DSR was your favorite ultimate. How come I don't see you get a lot of clear? How come you don't want to clear with me? Let's go. You want to do DSR? Let's go clear together. It's not about the clear I want.
Exactly.
It's about whether I can find people that I can do it the way I want to and maybe relieve that experience. What's the point of the clear? Right? But if you need it and you get it, good for you. But please understand why I think about it this way. Because if I were to give you reason, then the reasons are harsh. Right? But am I gonna shit on you because you didn't really achieve it? Of course not. You know what I mean? I think it doesn't matter what you clear. Even today you clear UCorp, I still think it's an achievement. But if you would come out all dick swinging and tell people about, man, I did UCOP in one shot, man, the party finder, I did it in one shot, UCOP is so easy, then I'm going to tell you to take a seat and shut up. You see what I'm trying to say? You understand my perspective? You understand my perspective, right?
A lot of what we're talking about right now is the after part of what players feel and what they kind of boast and say and everything else. I mean, if you, this is a story I bring up every once in a while. It's like I was playing Monster Hunter with a friend, and I think there was some sort of really buggy thing you could do to some of the monsters where you just had guns or something and you just stun them the entire time. You stun locked them. They never did any of their mechanics, and then they killed it and got the loot or whatever else. And I was like, man, that kind of sucks. And he was like,
classic.
Well, what do I fucking care, right? That I'm not doing that. I'm clearing it with my friends, and I'm doing the mechanics, and I'm doing it like in a way that I enjoy it. And again, these players and how they're doing it has literally nothing to do with what I'm doing, right? And how I'm enjoying it and how I'm pursuing it. So if people are going and do shitty stuff to get clears, if they do it, who gives a fuck how they did it? Because they're not a part of what you're doing. Right, you're kind of creating that own situation for yourself, and you're putting yourself in an environment that allows you to clear it that way. And so you have the fun and the victory for yourself that you're happy with. Now, if they boast about it afterwards, you can make fun of them. That's all right. If they wrongly boast and they talk shit, you can always stomp those people out. I love seeing Alpha Legends die. Stupid.
You know what's funny, Frosty?
Yeah, for sure.
Frosty, these are the people, right? I mean, I guess maybe there's a couple in your chat already. These are the people, right, that thinks that I have a huge ego or erection for Ultimate. The way, oh my god, the way you talk like Ultimate as if like it's a god or saint or something. Come on, in anything special, it's just an Ultimate. I clear it myself in PF. They think that I am the egoistic one, but what they don't understand that they themselves are the one. Because if they didn't boast, I wouldn't behave this way. Why do you think it's because this show? Do you think I waited for so many years for you to make an Ultimate show and I'm part of it to say this? No, I have dealt with this shit the day since I done UCOP. I've ever since UCOP, the very first day or the very during Storm's Blood, there were people already dicks out swinging already. Oh my god, I cannot believe you are struggling with UCOP. I did UCOP in PF. I'm like, no, you didn't.
That is the conversation.
But you know what? Whatever
I hear
makes
a
you
lot.
happy.
See, that's the only reason.
Exactly. You see what I mean? These are the people that boast to us and make us behave this way. But they think that we are just being ego. They don't understand. You guys are the reason why we are even having this conversation. Some of you guys just don't fucking get it. You know?
Yeah. Yeah, there are definitely people who think like, oh, I do this much DPS, I'm better than you. This is my parts, you know, like I cleared this ultimate this many times, like I am better than you, period. Yada yada.
Yo, Sausage, now that you talk about this and also now you run the community, am I bullshitting when I say this? Whatever I said on this show regarding that aspect, am I bullshitting? You probably seen it way more than me. I personally seen it a lot. You probably seen it way more than me. Even if it doesn't involve you, like, you know, people come up to you and say that, I'm pretty sure within your community, you already seen people do that already. And then you're like, yeah, that's kind of cringe.
Oh, trust, yeah.
Right?
There are people, yeah. You're not bullshitting, bro. Like, I definitely get it. And there's a reason why, like, you're like, I guess, well, not triggered, but you're like reacting, right? Like there's a reason why you're doing this and you're saying this. It's because there are people out there who are exactly like that. They maybe not all of them, but there are people that just taint this place, you know? It's like, dude, like just shut up, just play the game, you know? Like it's literally like everyone else is just trying to mind their own business. They're off work. They're just trying to get their clears because they love this video game. Just play the game. Shut up. Like you're putting too much like emphasis or like importance on X amount of clears or parts. Like, dude, no one gives a fuck. Okay.
Well, you know, I sometimes get upset at this type of comment because, you know, sometimes when people come and ask me, I want to do an ultimate the first time, how should I go around it? I want to be able to, you know, progressively eventually get to the point that I can do blind proc because I think blind proc is fun. But I can't, you know, get a clear. I want to learn properly. Like, you know, I want to see, you know, what pipeline to go through. And then randomly, this guy will just come in like, just do PF, man. Just do PF. I got my clear really easy in PF. You don't need the static. I'm like, dude, I think that's false information. You are literally telling this guy it can be done without a static. But the reality is in order for this guy to achieve the goals that he want to, there's no way he do it only in PF. But you tell him that you can do it because I did it in PF. It's pretty easy.
Join a Discord is the right response to that. Join the ultimate Discord.
Join an ultimate Discord. That is the correct response.
Yeah.
Not open PF, press P. Hey, look, there's a random PF out there doing P6. Go in there. You're gonna get proper proc. No. Join the Discord. Get people that actually put stuff together. And then play with people that that are validated as real helpers, real non-trap people that can vouch for them. That I know this guy is on their face.
Well,
those are the one you join and learn. Not just open the list, click, join.
Yeah,
it doesn't work.
I can't really speak for the other OT discords, but at least in our Discord, there are helpers that legit just jump into PFs to help them. The progger or the person who doesn't clear or who isn't in the Discord, they don't join the Discord or anything. But I think right now the resources are pretty laid out that you can probably just study your role and you can actually clear it. You can actually clear, but it becomes like
also
a solo...
the sims, right? The sim is also amazing.
Exactly. So technically, in that definition, you can clear it in PF, but that's only because of the amount of resources that are not trappy. Because early prog, there are trap resources all the time. But right now, with the age of all the OTs, there's so many resources, man, and all the OTs are everyone agreed with the stress.
I love the again, even though I don't do it, I love the shit. What do you guys call that? The Death of the Heaven, where they do the static, they do the conga line, and then black up, white down, and then after that, the anchor, circle is always beta, right? And then square, the other three you just anchor and then let your partner move. I like that strat. I wish
stuff?
No, these are the strat.
Wait.
These are the strat that comes out again after so long. I wish in proc somebody came out with that already. That would have been fucking golden,
Wait, you said Death of the Heaven? The conga line thing? And then if you have Doom, you move here, and then everyone else just gets it. Yeah.
The Doom people that needs to get knocked back to the paddle. I think it's mainly the X. Is it circle? No, triangle and square. Yeah. So some party they put triangle and square must be in this order, but I think now it's triangle and square just stay, and then your partner that
Doom's
the one
plan.
that move. Dude, that one is Doom is planned. That one is so good, man. That strat literally make Death of the Heaven from the hardest mechanic to the easiest mechanic in DSR. I think. That was amazing. Yeah,
I remember
things like that.
Yeah,
PF will work. Yeah,
because in DSR on patch and top on patch, we did a lot of work with trying to sync our community's Discord strats to be the same, and there'd be at least in DSR there was this voting portion where everyone would be what do you prefer out in PF? Do you like this strat, this strat? And
Savage can't have a community like that. And then you have Mario Kart versus Static. Dude, this one triggers me. In NA Savage, Limit Cut, JP, Limit Cut, you guys like to call it JP, right?
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah.
JP is the one that you are static, right?
JP's the one where you stay on one side, then on the second one you move over. Yeah.
You want to know the kicker, Frosty? JP don't even do that anymore. JP do marathon. So when I stream, right, and then when I join NAPF, I'm like, man, I play in 4, including China. I'm now also playing on the China server. They just got 6.4. So I'm like, man, I play on 4 different servers. Can somebody tell me what is JPLC is in NA? Oh, JPLC is static. I'm like, wait, what? No, JPLC is not static. JPLC is marathon. No. NA's JPLC is static. JP's JPLC is marathon. Who came up with this shit?
I could talk about Party Finder Savage for years because I've done it both on EU and NA for the last 3 or 4 months, constantly every freaking day. So I know so much about how they do the different strategies and how it's evolved both in NA and EU differently. Some things just completely changed. For example, in P12S, where the tank baits that half room cleave is completely different on EU than it is on NA. And it's just, they just live with it. And it's just how it is for now. And so many
different
little
data
tiny
center
things
is
like
fine.
that. Yeah.
Within the data center, how come there is no like like what Sausage is talking about, like in the Discord, they will vote what is better for PF and push for it. You know what I mean?
Because true Party Finder that doesn't require Discord.
Exactly.
Because it's true Party Finder content. Ultimate isn't. Ultimate's limited to people who are really trying to clear it. Savage is allowing people to that study, they watch the week 1 guides and then they go into it and try to figure it out from there and they clear it.
I'm confused then. So if say for example there is a community that suddenly pops up and they start doing these whole voting thing, what happens in PF, what actually happens in PF versus like what we should decide happens in PF. If they start making a Discord, does that make it PF?
You mean for Savage?
It's still right because
if it is required to, I mean, like, so again, in the sense of what Party Finder is my understanding is how Savage is currently treated. Which again, you get in there, you have a bad experience with someone, you blacklist them, and that's like your whole that you just go through that cycle a few times until you get really lucky, and then you get through it clear. You don't do.
But
that
you guys
with
really
Ultimate.
blacklist people.
People
Let's just
are
say if they are
so
preppy.
fucking crazy about blacklisting this Savage tier. Like seriously, it just pops off. You have what they say something wrong, blacklist it.
Yeah,
they upset me.
Yeah,
blacklist.
they do.
It is.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
They think it. Well, most people think that it's less drama because you just blacklist, move on, then move on to the next party, right? But what my question though was if making a Discord to do PF stuff makes it not PF, how does PF decide what's PF if they don't have any communication?
It's the description.
No. You guys are just voting the strat.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, you don't need to join a community or Discord to do it. Organize. I mean, there are still, but you don't really have to. You just need to like you are not making a group for them or making a platform for them to clear the fight. You are just telling the PF guys, let's not do Ilya.
Oh yeah,
let's not do Ilya like rampant, please. You know what I mean? And then the community.
Okay, that makes sense.
Now, me as somebody who come back home, even if I want to do Ilya. But if the community, the PF guy has decided that, oh wow, everybody seems to not want to do Ilya, well, I guess we don't do Ilya then. Like, I feel like Savage needs something like that. And that, I think that has been a very long ongoing discussion because this kind of also talk about macro. Because like, in JP and EU, they will say something like, oh, this one you get so much. EU players will say that, oh, I don't know what you NAs are talking about. I don't know why you guys have JPL limit cut or marathon. In EU, we just use a macro. Like, yes, macro is also good in aspect because macro standardize it. So even if you're a random guy without a community and you just like raw dog going in, the macro tells you guys, I don't give a shit about whether you like to do this or not. It has already been decided. The macro has spoken. The macro sees it all. The macro is the truth that we have to do this strat. Then you're like, okay. Because right now in NA, right, it's fucking freedom, man. It's really freedom. Like even when they do calorie 1, when I do calorie 1, I'm like, okay, guys, what you guys do for calorie 1? Oh, it's going to do Papan. Okay, I'll do Papan then. And then when I do Papan wrong, they say, you're not doing Papan. I say, this is the Papan Elemental were doing. Elemental do the DPS flex. Oh, no. In NA, we do the healer flex first. I'm like, then it's different. How come you didn't say it? Oh, it's different.
Oh my god.
Like, that is the one that
you don't say some things, right? It becomes like normal and you just do it. But the lines that don't get crossed, right now, all NA will do exactly the same. EU will do it exactly the same, and JP will. Because there's just the cross data center Party Finder is all within that, that sphere, I guess, right? And so you don't go into the other regions, and that you'll see just really strict differences. Like when I was talking about like where the tank takes the bait for the tank buster, it's just different in 2 different regions because they don't cross that line. And so they don't talk about which side you're supposed to stand on. They just know. All right, with all Party Finder does it that way in that region's Party Finder, and you just learn to do that. Right? There's so much stuff they don't say. You figure it out, and you do it the same way.
And you see what Frosty just explained. That's PF.
Yeah.
In Ultimate PF, that cannot happen. You will never clear the fight. Like in Savage PF, you can keep banging your head on it. 1 of 10 group is gonna clear the fight, and then you're like, yeah, can do it. But let me tell you, in Ultimate, that will never happen. You cannot have a guy that sometimes go left or sometimes go right. You cannot have a guy that sometimes do marathon clockwise, counterclockwise, and then you are like, I thought we were talking about the same strat. No, it's different. You are going the wrong direction. Oh, but in the other PF, I did in this direction. You will never clear an Ultimate. in that PF, for example.
So we
Ultimate
talked.
really needs somebody to lay down the law. And I'm really fascinated because I have never thought that we can actually, over the past 10 years, Savage PF being the norm, I have never thought that one day, right, the ultimate players, right, can form a community, right, and come down and lay down the law where finally when people go into the PF, whether they are in the community or not, or they, join a group that, have helpers in, at least people are on the same page. Because the proof is the amount of clear rate you guys have for non-static ultimate player. And I think, again, it's an achievement. Disregard of what I said earlier, I think it's an achievement. That is something I never thought about. So big credit to those, people that I don't want to give PF credit for this. I think that these are the work of the hardworking people behind the scene that made sure that they create a platform. Savage doesn't have that platform, right? But Ultimate, they really lay down the law, they lay down the groundwork, and then every now and then that one or two a piece of shit that think that they are true PF comes in and reap the benefit of it. But I think the real credit goes to people like Sausage, the mods, the people in the community that make this happen. Because like I said earlier, when I was in the EU1 for a very brief period of time, I was like I was quite fascinated how dedicated the people are. I was quite fascinated how seriously they take and how much way clear. I look at the channels. Every channel got every face, got every super comprehensive guide already there. Nobody can deviate. If you are in the Discord, you are not going to deviate. Hey guys, I think that your phase 2 channel, the strat is a little bit off. No, you are off. Either you stick to this or you get the fuck out.
Yeah.
I think the law is
you don't optimize.
The law is very established. That's really, really good. That surprised me.
Yeah.
Another thing that surprised me, unrelated to Ultimate, hunt trains. I cannot believe UNAs can be so organized in hunt trains.
Oh my god.
That blows my mind. Ultimate, your backend Ultimate community and your PF and your hunt trains are the two things that blow my mind. I never thought you guys are capable of that, and here we are. Yeah, good job, man.
So
it's growing, man. Yeah.
We have talked so much about Party Finder aspect of Ultimate in this show. I guess there's probably a handful of other things we should probably try to hit while we still have time to, right? And I mean, we did, that was maybe the core of it, but we branched off.
It is important.
It is important.
Yeah.
And we did hit a lot of aspects of what kind of Ultimate is right now. And it is just the challenging content that builds a community behind it. And the community clears it, right? And I think that is something that's really important to realize too, is that Savage doesn't build that community behind it. Ultimate builds these types of communities behind it. And it's another reason why it's so important to the game, is because it feels like an MMO, man. You know, when you queue up for a fucking dungeon and you just get random people blast through it, does that feel like you're interacting with people? No. In Ultimate, you're interacting with people. You are seriously talking with people that you will talk to the next day. You'll have to treat them with some level of respect so they will play with you, because
the trust,
right?
The trust that you build. You know this guy you can rely on. That is MMO.
That is real MMO. Now, that's not the true for anyone. Some people are really good at RPing, and you got to be nice to them because you want a good RP experience, right? Or you want to be invited to their club and not kicked out of their club. That's another aspect, but this is not this show, right?
It's community based, very much community based.
Arthars is like,
Ultimate is very community based. Yeah, I wonder what RP you are engaging.
I'm not. All right, that's a different show. We might not be able to do that one on Twitch. No, I'm just kidding. The thing, I think a lot of people who are complaining about how the new modern style of MMO is kind of getting away from the classical style and everything, and that's true. It is getting to a point of where, some things are just kind of easy to access, making things extremely accessible, but not being so accessible allows for things like what we're seeing right now with Ultimate to happen. Because the access and being able to get into it just requires people to play with you and to help you and do this content. So anyways, with that, I think I would say ultimates are in a really good spot. Mechanically, when we're talking about, we can have criticisms all we want about, hey, well, top wasn't fully optimized. There's a couple little issues at the very beginning of it, and all this stuff. But it's pretty good. It's pretty good for how it comes out, and it's 99% there, right? It's not like really far off or anything else. I think ultimates are in a really good state. Having 3
would be a dream. Ooh.
It would be good. I would be accept 2
I would
plus
love that,
one
bro.
alternate experimental version of content, maybe similar to Ultimate. Like, I do think having what was it, DRS was a good situation for the game.
Dude, DRS
That
was
was-
one of the best content
was so
in this
good.
game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Doing
Again, it's not
BA
about the difficulty.
BA, another
it wasn't
one.
yeah.
So, and I think having that 3rd iteration of this experimental, difficult PvE content is pretty good to have at the tail end of an expansion.
Now DRS, I'm not sure, but at least for Eureka and BA in particular, that shit created again MMO. That shit created a whole new community. The amount of people that were like behind closed door making Eureka groups, I'm not sure whether people make Gobosja group. I assume they do, but Eureka definitely is what I've seen like the most. Like you see, it doesn't need to be an ultimate, right? Like even like you say, Frosty, the 48 man, the BA. This makes you feel like you're playing an MMO, and this is what Endwalker lacks. But luckily we still have ultimate because ultimate
Ultimate's created, yeah. They create that community.
BA, Eureka, Bosja is gone. So kind of we lose one MMO aspect in this game that we used to have. And for me, that's why I think Endwalker is like a -1 point from there,
Yeah.
Like people always think, right? I on Twitter, I know this might sound not ultimate related, but it is. A lot of people on Twitter is like, you guys, why do you guys want a stupid grind? What's the difference between grinding and in Eureka versus grinding 1,005 tomes? When people ask that question, I straight up, it's like, these guys are clueless. Again, it's just like Ultimate. Do you really think difficulty is what makes Ultimate? No, it's a community behind. It's the statics. It's how the raiding community progress. How they communicate one member, even make the PF happen, right? And then for Eureka is, how did that make people able to clear BA, enjoy your content that's not easily accessible to the others? Like we lose that. We didn't lose just a relic grind. We didn't just lose a 48-man content. We lose a chance to create another community. Ultimate is always there to make it happen, and Ultimate community is growing. That's what I really like. One of the things I like about Ultimate.
Yeah, there's some grindy aspect. There's grindy aspect of Bosja and grindy aspect of Eureka, which really didn't contribute, I think, to what we would want in an MMO. Like it's the same thing as Ultimate does or anything else. I think getting together and overcoming a challenge does that. Grinding stuff out doesn't really do that for me, right? It exists in there, and so overcoming challenges, that is something that I think creates that community. I think. I was playing. I tested the waters a little bit with Wrath recently. With the classic Wrath, and they just implemented the auto queue for dungeons. The difference between doing a dungeon without auto queue and then doing it with auto queue is completely different. It is absolutely, it changes the social experience within the game. And so I could see, if there's anything where you don't have to require talking to people, work with people, and trying to be, part of a community to do the content, it kind of takes away from what I think is the true MMO experience. And And
I think like if we're talking about the state of ultis now, not talking about how it is in its raw sense when it first came out, but I think right now it's a really good time for any kind of player to try it out, because as each ultimate ages, it becomes more accessible to other players who don't want to be sweaty like us. Like for example, if you've never tried an ulti before and you want to just test out to see what the pacing of it is, or if you really like, I don't know, Garuda or like the ultimate weapon, dude, Uwu is like the perfect place to start.
Yeah,
like sure it's gonna be
Uwu
and Ucob, right? Like it's sure it might be like. People will say that, it's not as hard as the others. Exactly. For sure. But the pacing never stopped, There's always like a puzzle that there's a choreographed dance that you gotta learn. And if you've never done raiding before, like it's gonna force you to do it anyway. So if you want to test it out,
ultimate with training wheels, but that doesn't mean that you can't learn anything from it,
Exactly, bro. And like if you try to do like, okay, you want to step up, go U cover T, And if you wanna feel how it is to have like current max level ulti, then go try DSR top. But the fact remains, like right now with like new gear for top and stuff, right now is the perfect time to just try it, man. Like it's accessible to literally everyone if you wanted it.
Yeah, and I would say right now also the way that I'm approaching it, where I've never done an ultimate before and I'm doing it with top, is actually giving me a close as I can true experience to what doing an ultimate is. And because it's current content difficult. Now it's not as difficult as it's ever been. It's always going to be easier than the previous patch, right?
I actually don't think like it's like T, right? I don't think TOP will get much easier.
You don't think so?
There's nothing. There is nothing you can cheese.
I think the biggest thing
T and
the biggest thing that's going to happen is that deaths are going to be a little bit more acceptable, right? And so not at the very end. So not at the very end.
For TOP, for T, right? Your chances of recovering 30%. In TOP, your chance of recovering maybe 10.
It's very.
It doesn't matter how much gear you have. I think the window, you only got a split second in every mechanic that you can recover, and even that I think is pushing it, and that's why I think T is really good, because as much as you guys have complained, a lot of people have complained about bugs or body checks, but I do think that body checks is what's gonna make TOP in the next 3 years, 5 years still relevant, because I think T is still relevant. Although there's no more DPS check. I mean, since when there is, except for last phase, right? You can't kill BJC. Wait, can you? I'm not sure. Correct me on this. You can't kill BJCC until final judgment. So you still have the whole DPS. You still have to do the mechanics. You know what I mean? So it's like, I don't think those gear will make it easier. It just make you less stress, I guess. You shift the focus, I guess, from DPS into mechanics.
Well, it gets scary too, because it's just like balancing the DPS and changing your rotations every single time, right? And you got to just make sure you're adapting to what the new rotation needs to be, so you're not off for the next phase, which makes Ultimate so unique in its way, because you have like how many you have 6 DPS checks back to back, right? And you have to make sure how you're ending one phase makes the other phase more possible. You can't kill it too early. You got to wait, and that's what we're dealing with. I think that's really interesting that they
and you see that blows my mind how good the developers are designing the fights. Again, it's not just mechanic. It's just like you remember how now this one happens to probably, I think Sausage can relate to this. I don't think PF can relate to this. How many times have we get to phase 2? At the end of the Omega MF. And then, when we were first progging, we were sending 2 minutes at the end. Oh my god, this DPS check is easy, bro. And then when you go to final Omega, you're like, how the fuck are we ever gonna make this DPS check? Oh, you have to save the 2 minutes for the beginning. And then suddenly you're like, Omega F is not dying. You know what I mean? And then it's like,
at the beginning,
what the fuck? Yeah. So you see how the developers already knew. It's the same for DSR. You can't kill Torrent too fast. You kill Torrent too fast, you're gonna lag that. Now, again, this is only for hardcore proc, not today, right? But like, if you push Torrent too fast, you press and use every resource too fast, you kill Torrent too fast, you're gonna have that 1% DPS shot for Nidhogg. It's like the developers already planned for it, man. And then, after you clear the fight, after people clear the fight, 1 or 2 weeks later, people is like, oh man, I hate this fight, man. This fight is so bad. Oh my god, I can't even do DPS properly. I'm like, dude, you are missing the whole point. The developer intended this way. They wanted you to hold, save resource. Saving the resource management, realign your burst, do your rotation a different way is part of the ultimate. Oh, but I don't like this ultimate, man. This ultimate doesn't let me use my 2 minutes here.
Yeah.
You're missing the point.
Exactly, dude.
You see what I mean? People don't understand.
It's parse brain, I think. It's parse brain, because if they can't get their extra use, it becomes a whole thing to them.
Yeah.
I think they're missing it. You're right. They're missing it.
it's miserable. Like that's I mean, and you could see, I feel like they're trying, at least in Savage, they're taking a DPS check out, right? they're trying to remove it to the point to where you're not thinking about just doing the most DPS. You're thinking about how to execute the mechanics properly and go through the fight to take it. You need to do something for your DPS. You can't just hit just random buttons. You have to try to activate and do damage, right? But activate your different abilities and whatever, and hit them on a cooldown. But there are signs that they are trying to make players care a little bit less about being super hardcore with damage.
Oh, do you think that's like I mean, this is a different topic already, but do you think that's a design choice for the future, or do you think
for
it's
Savage at least? I think that they might not make the DPS checks like tight again. I don't think they're ever gonna make them tight again.
I mean, I just think they fucked up. I just think the 1 week delay fucked it up. The 1 week delay made them confused. Do we plan to make the fight for literally 640, like in this tier, do we make it literally for 640 year, or do we make it 642?
Well,
because
they had that
we
for
have now
P8S
1
too.
week, you know?
They had 1 week for that too.
And P8S was the glaring example that either they lied or they don't know what to do with it. Because P8S, I don't think matter. Okay. Maybe in the perfect scenario, I don't think full crafted gear you're gonna clear I don't think you can clear Abyssals, man, with full crafted gear. I guess we will never find out. I guess we will leave to the spreadsheet people and do the math. But is there anyone out there during Abyssals pre 1% nerf? Did anyone try just full crafted gear?
Sure. Well, depending on like snakes first or not first, right? I guess that would be the scenario, but yeah.
I just think they fuck up the balance. I don't think it's because they want to make it laxer. I just think they don't know what to do with it.
They made it really lax.
Now I do think that the 1 week delay. Okay, in terms of a challenge, in terms of the real week one, you see, Final Fantasy XIV create a lot of this controversy, even for us to have discussion to say you are right or you are wrong. That's the answer is there's no right or wrong, right? I do think that now after experiencing the 1 week delay, I think it's a mistake. In the try hard pure week one experience, I think now is more confusing.
They're never
than ever.
going away from it ever. It is
because I know this
P12,
P12, right? I know this P12. A lot of people say, man, the DPS check is too easy compared to Abyssals. The DPS check is too easy, and I'm like, yeah, but let's take some credit. You know, we are really good. We are really good at optimizing our 450 tomes, right? Yeah. But I mean, the DPS check is non-existent.
Yeah.
Right now.
So,
you know? But the 1 week delay has to do with it.
Yeah. But I think that's just kind of like they are going towards the mechanic heavies. And I think we would consider top mechanic heavy, right? That's pretty mechanical of a fight. Like that's the big challenge.
Very different. Yeah. You know, before TOP, right? My biggest, I actually even told this to my previous static. You know, I always tell them, you know, we always sometimes theory craft, right? Oh, what is ultimate gonna have? What do you think is a hard ultimate? You know, when they start theory crafting, like, oh, how do we piece this and this together? I'm like, dude, all this prep kind of meaningless because at the end of the day, we're gonna do it so many times, we're gonna get okay with it. Now, what I personally scared the most is priority. I hate looking at party lists to look at a party. That doesn't mean I hate the fight. I'm just really weak at that. I hope they don't have a mechanical check where we have to constantly look at priority because either you guys put me at D4 all the way at the right, or you guys put me as main tank all the way to the left. I don't want to be in the middle. D1 and D2 is the worst. H1 and H2 is the worst. Right? Conga line H1, H2, D1, D2 is the worst. Right? And then this TOP, every fucking mechanic was that. Can you imagine how much I struggled? I was struggling so bad in TOP. But after that, I felt like I'm a better player. After that, this no longer make me feel like this is no longer my weakest anymore, you know? And that's what I take out from TOP. I'm like, yeah, TOP made me a better player. Now I'm no longer that scared anymore.
Yeah.
So what's next? You know what is next?
Yes, dude. Okay, so I have a friend who's been playing since the Realm Reborn because I started in Stormblood, but he's like my right hand man. His name's Sir BJ, but he had one.
You got him.
That's another story, bro. But But he had one mechanic, and he said it all the time. He had one mechanic that he struggled with, and he's done many raids before. He had one mechanic that he struggled with in top, and it taught him a lot of things, right? So that's why I definitely agree with Arthars, man. Like they're testing us with different things, you know? They're not the
Simple
same
mechanics.
Yeah,
Simple
exactly.
mechanics, not
Yeah,
new.
yeah.
But dude, they you know the other day somebody put out this video, right? Final Fantasy 14 is stand still and wait for mechanic to resolve. Dude, you think yes, I agree with you. That's what Final Fantasy 14 is. You think that is not why it's fun? That's why it's fun. Because once it's not about when you finally stand still and let mechanic resolve. It's the process of getting to the point that you get. It's the pre-stand still until mechanic resolve. That right there is the fun. Not after you resolve it. It's when you get to resolve it. And then that video also put out example of like Lost Ark, jumping platform. Let me tell you, I played those games. Let me tell you, those games are fucking easy. Those games compared to Final Fantasy 14, those games are easy. Like a lot of people say Lost Ark is difficult. Dude, I done Lost Ark, Deathless Run on Hell mode. Dude, Lost Ark, Deathless Run is at best Final Fantasy 14 EX trial. At best. That shit is so easy. Now, I think the only reason why people think that Lost Ark Hell mode is hard is because that game is free to play. So you have a lot of casuals playing it and they think they can do it and then they don't. That's why it's hard. But an actual raider, the skill transfer, right? You go to play WoW Mythic Raid. Dude, WoW Mythic Raid is not difficult. You want to know what's difficult in WoW Mythic Raid? Handling the other 19 monkeys. That's difficult. In Final Fantasy 14, you cannot handle the other 7 monkeys. Those monkeys need to know how to use the tools themselves. You can't just hold them and bring them to where they are. I mean, you kind of can auto marker, I guess. But even with auto marker, that guy still need to know where to go.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yep,
Final Fantasy 14 is the hardest mechanic I ever think the developer come out that the players have to execute. Now, is it impossible to do? Is it really difficult? I don't think so. But if I compare that difficulty to other games today that is considered hard, Final Fantasy 14 one is still the hardest. Final Fantasy 14 mechanic is still the best design one. The best way how raid feels like. And individually how satisfying when you get it done. Or even collectively how satisfying you get it done. Because when you play World of Warcraft, I can tell you as an unholy DK main, I don't do 95% of the mechanic. I just tank and spam and do rotation on the boss. The other 19 people do mechanic for me and then I get my Hall of Fame. Thank you, Guild, I guess. Did I really earn it? Fuck no. I don't feel like when I clear a mythic raid, I feel like an ultimate raid. Now, this is me being mid-core. Obviously, like Liquid Echo, they definitely do. They are playing a different game, man. Let me just put it. They are playing a different fucking game, man. Yeah. And for Echo to come in and do ultimate and they struggle with it, but doesn't surprise me that they could do it. I'm like, yeah, I'm so glad that Echo did it because they now experience both. You know, I'm pretty sure they have say which is harder, which is easier, which is logistically challenging, which is not. But dude, it's a different game. It is a very different game. But don't come and tell me, don't make a video and come and tell me Final Fantasy 14 mechanic is too easy because you stand still and wait for mechanic to resolve when the other games are just like, dude, Valton. When Valton is like begging himself for the counter move. Oh my god, this game is like for the other game like Lost Ark, there is some things that you do and counter the boss that is interactively fun. What the fuck? You just wait for the boss to glow and you press one button. That shit is not difficult. What do you mean more fun? How is that more fun? I done it. I literally stand there and count the millisecond. 1,000, 2,000 counter, your turn. Hey, 1,000, 2,000 counter, your turn. How is that difficult? And by the way, that is the hardest mechanic in Valton, by the way. When you go to the last phase in Valton, that one gun lancer needs to be in charge of the counter. He pressed one button. Oh man, that is so dynamic. That makes the fun so much more fun than Final Fantasy 14. Shut the fuck up.
Now, you know,
so true.
To kind of, again, classic WoW. Back in the day, I had so much fucking difficulty with like Naxxramas and like everything else. I went back and did it recently. I'm like, no one was ever doing anything in these fights. There's like 1-2 mechanics per fight. I know it's different in retail now, but yeah, you just sat there and you just hit the boss as much. Every once in a while, like, oh, there's an ad. Let me kite him around the room real quick, and then you're done. I do feel like Final Fantasy 14, that's their focus right now, and they're knocking it out of the park pretty well. But future-wise,
it's crazy to me. It's really crazy to me how creative these developers are.
Yeah.
How they mash all
Yeah.
these simple mechanics together. It
Yeah,
blows my mind.
comparing to Lost, because I played a little bit of Lost Ark 2, for a few months actually, and coming from FF, like I still think FF has more creative mechanics, like puzzle piecing for like within 8 to like however many minutes. I don't know, it's just more fun. I don't know if I'm biased,
It is.
but it's just more
No,
fun.
no. You are definitely. I mean,
Yeah.
Final Fantasy 14 right now is like, you know what people say these days, nothing to do. So thankfully for this nothing to do, I personally get to go explore other games, play other games. That's why, you know, there was a period I do Lost Ark hardcore. I do the hell mode when it came out. I even do deathless runs. And then after that, Lost Ark also have a hell mode community. It was really fucking awesome as well. Right? I'm pretty sure it's something like your ultimate. It is freaking amazing, you know? And then then I go and play World of Warcraft. You know, I progressively go from casual, you know, mythic raid clear into now I'm in US top 50, top 100 mythic raid guild. Again, I don't take credit for that because I just go in and they do the mechanic for me. They are I just get myself in the picture because I don't want to, again, earlier in the show I said I don't talk out of my ass. I don't say things based on because I never do it before. I based on statistic and based on my own experience. Final Fantasy 14 mechanic is still probably the most fun and most satisfying to do. And yesterday in Zepla's show, I also say this, and I guess I can take this to ask you guys as well. How the fuck can a brand new player play in Endwalker and then go into, say, Abyssos and do those mechanics? As a brand new player, that shit is impossible, man. You got zero knowledge. I guess you had to start from square one and really get beat to pumps to learn it. But that is I think this is Final Fantasy games own making, right? They don't teach you how to play the game. EX Trial maybe a little bit, but Zeromus definitely didn't. You know what I mean? And then you look at Anabasios, you look at Abyssos, it's like, dude, there's no fucking way new player can do it. And if you think about it from that perspective, then you are like, bruh, Final Fantasy 14 raiding is not easy, man. You know, because if you are a World of Warcraft player, you just install some add-on. You just get some weak aura. You go into heroic raid, you get carried, you clear the fight. But in Final Fantasy 14, that shit don't fly. You don't know how to do limit cut, you ain't clearing the fight. You know, you don't know how to do bonds, you ain't clearing the fight.
You're right. It's more intricate and like group oriented because like at least the amount of time I played in Lost Ark, like I just need to learn what the boss does, and I can probably just kill it, right? But like for FF, it's like this guy, you're a healer, you need to do this. This guy, you're a melee, but you got this debuff, so now you got to do this. It's so like they think about this stuff. I don't know. It just to me, it's just way more fun than any other game. That's why we keep on coming back, and it's because of the ultis and the savages and stuff.
Yeah.
But I think someone in chat, I mean, they were having a discussion about zero healer. Now that zero healer is a mistake. That one is a development flaw. I don't think that is because healers are shit or anything. It's a development flaw. Like magic number. Magic number should have been a mechanic, just like any other mechanic, that when you die, the debuff should have stayed on you. But because magic number, when you die, the magic number debuff don't apply to you. That's why the Red Mage Zombie, the Paladin heal works. You know, because I mean, you are not doing the mechanic. You are literally just exploit. I personally will go as far as to say, not doing magic number the proper way. Although it's still not easy, right? Having to rest, zero healer, getting to that point, and then still have to meet the DPS share. I know it's not easy, but I do think that if you found out a mechanic flaw where you know that magic number don't apply and you take advantage of that and you do what you did and do a zero healing clear, I think that fundamentally is. It's just exploiting the system.
Well,
and now, knowing JP developers, I don't think they will change anything. They will just accept it as, you know, we fucked up, but kudos to you guys. It's like, you know, Royal Pentacle, right? In Gordius, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not
I don't
like
think that
easy.
moving in the future, if they can, you know, I mean, TOP is just a lot of bugs, let's be honest. But if they can overcome all these, like, I mean, it's a long fight. It's a very difficult to balance fight. But if they don't say for Living Liquid, you know, you can kill Living Liquid within 1 minute because the Hand of Pain can be mitigated. That shit shouldn't be mitigated. That shit should just do 9 million damage, regardless. If you fail the mechanic check, if the hands are not separate properly or the hands are too close, if they are not supposed to, bam, one shot. There should be no mitigation. That is just a development flaw, right? So hopefully Ultimate in the future, or even Savage in the future, make sure that they don't fuck it up, you know? Because for me, that is a mechanical flaw. That is not because that is not because healer are not needed. That is not because healer in this game is too easy. Now, I do think TOP, Momo told me yesterday, Momo want me to ask Yoshi P in FanFest, can you ask Yoshi P why TOP is easier to heal than P8S? I'm like, you know what? That's true. Although I don't think that the healing situation, that's a different topic. That's a healer talk.
Yeah.
But just talking about magic number and zero healable TOP, that is an oversight. Right? That's a magic number oversight.
I mean, it's also like what makes healing easy. I mean, healing is a whole can of worms to talk about in this game. So, but yeah, healing, when people clear it, the difficulty is always with the prog. It's not the reclear. It's just like I had you know how good it feels after you clear it and you go back and just smash the fight in the face and just like beat it into a pulp because you know it. You're not fucking up mechanics.
That's where you
fucked
pass
it up for so long.
That's where people pass.
Yeah, and you just that's why people redo the fights, because you've conquered that fight, and now it's just kind of fun to go over there and figure out how more you can conquer, how much more you can beat the hell out of this fight, and do different jobs, get different perspectives, and all this other stuff. And like once the scary part is the absence of knowledge while progging it and having to go through that initial experience and learning it, and that's the whole challenge of it. And when we're looking at fights and we're judging fights, usually, in my opinion, you judge it by the prog, not by the reclear.
Yes.
Agreed.
Because reclears, the players are given a lot of resources and time to develop tools, simulators, formulate strat to the point that we figure it out already. But the figuring part is the I mean, Savage is the same. Savage is the same. Even EX12. Like, remember Tsukuyomi? Tsukuyomi was awesome. Tsukuyomi took my static to lockout. By the way, that is the same static that, you know, we do really fast ultimate clear. So it's not like we are bad or anything. But Tsukuyomi took us like 2 lockouts. Still, zero mercs. Zero mercs took some static. 1 pull after you get past the meteor to clear the fight. Like, what the fuck, man? You know what I mean?
Like,
the figuring part
like
is the fun. It's not the reclear.
Do
Zero
you guys
mercs is
remember,
bad.
What was it? 01S? Took some statics
Bianco?
1 pull outright.
Oh, yeah, I mean, that was the okay. That was the lowest point in Savage, but Delta Skip was saved because of UCOP. So UCOP came out the same patch cycle. So people don't really think back about how bad Delta Skip was. But you know, Delta Skip was a merciful act by Square Enix because they're gonna fuck you in the ass with UCOP. So
true, dude.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll allow that, you know.
Well, but yeah, in that point of view and perspective and everything else, I don't know. I feel like when we're speaking of these fights, and it's always going to feel easy afterwards. Even even talking about blind versus not blind, it's still proggy, not blind. It's still the experience, right? Because you don't really learn it until you do it. And you see it, and you are actually in that moment and experience it. And so I feel like, that doesn't really diminish it that much. I mean, it's completely different categories, figuring out blind versus not doing it blind, but they're both challenges, and there is a good experience progging fights.
For sure.
But after you clear it, it's just trying to relive that through other people's clears and trying to optimize play. And
or the jobs,
Yeah, but it's nothing compared to the prog.
That's why prog is such a gift. When new content comes out, it's like, yo, this is the one time you can taste this. There's only a first time ever for this, and this is it, you know?
And this is not just because you want to race. No. Like you know, just now when you guys were saying that, you know, I do race, I still very skeptical. I mean, me and Frosty have this discussion for a decade already. Like, I'm still very skeptical because, you know, when I wake up every day, right, after a prog day ends in Ultimate, the first thing that I wake up after I brush my teeth, or even when I'm brushing my teeth, is not, are we still ahead? That's not what I was thinking. What I was thinking is, hopefully when I go back to the Discord, there is no clips about people posting the mechanic. I don't care whether people pass our prog point. I don't give a shit. But what I hope is that people don't post a clip, because I want to figure it out myself. You know, because like Sausage said, it's your only time. After you miss that, it's over. For the next 1 year, there is no chance for you to blind proc. I mean, I guess Savage or even Criterion now, yeah, okay. But that first time is the most fun one. Like, even if you are not racing, I think that waking up on server up, even you are not raiding 16 hours, even if your static is casual. Hey guys, we are like Frosty, for example. Let's just say, in the future, you do want to make a static for Ultimate, for example, but you are just like, hey, let's do 3 days a week, 3 hours a day. I do think that even if you're a casual group, right, when the server comes up, that 3 hours, you should go and do it. Because that's the only time that you can try it blind. Even Savage, even if it's turn 1, turn 2, you only got 3 hours, maybe we can clear turn 1 and turn 2. That's good enough. You experience something blind. It's really, really fun.
And I have to, and I'm just in the seat where I'm not able to experience that unless if a lot of money comes in and I could just throw money at production and other people running a world race event. That is the only way that would ever happen. It would have to be like ridiculous amounts of money for something like that to happen. But until then, I remove myself from the ability to do Savage and Ultimate. And Criterion Dungeons now completely blind. I just have to go in there with some level of knowledge. I don't look up strats maybe for the first little bit of it, but I will have an idea and a concept of what's happening within those fights just because I'm in a spectator seat. And I feel like that's important. At least that's fun. You know what? It is so fun to sit back and not have to worry about trying to clear stuff and just living through other people doing it. I'll let you know, the washed up Raider seat at the World Race events is great.
Dude, your next Savage race, I know I left you hanging this time, but this one I'm gonna blame Xeno. This one I blame Xeno, this one I blame Violent. I was totally, I do not want to proc this. I don't give a shit about Savage anymore. After Ultimate, I really don't give a shit about Savage anymore. I want to take a back seat, I want to relax. And after watching the hard work you put in on the World Race, I want to be part of it. You know what I mean? I saw the analysis that you get, even for TOP. You know how they draw the diagram? I actually stayed up after my proc for an hour just to watch it. I'm like, yo, looking at all this, you call it quote unquote washed up Raider talk about it. It was fun. And I was like, one day, right, I want to sit down there and do the same. And I was like, you know what? The next Savage, I'm going to do that. So I told Frosty, I don't give a shit about Savage. I want to do PF. I want to just do PF. I want to be in the MogTalk. I want to just cast. And then obviously things happen, but I don't give a fuck. The next one, 7.0, I am not gonna.
We'll see.
I'm not gonna join the static for 7.0. I just wanna sit. I wanna sit with you and do it.
Yeah, it's fun. I like what it's evolving. And I don't think like the experience I'm having is super enjoyable for me. All right, because I kind of get to see it and talk with people about it, which I love doing. Obviously, that's why I have this podcast. That's why we're doing it. I love having that discussion. And it's exciting to try to figure it out on our own too, in a way. Like we're just looking at the VODs and everything else. They have their own way of figuring out within their group and everything, but we don't have complete visibility to that. But it's fun because you're still kind of having a blind experience a little bit because you're just sitting there with other people figuring out the mechanics. You're just not there executing them.
Yeah.
So. I still cannot. I can't stop thinking and laughing, man. You know when your MogTalk proc, when you guys have those analyses to talk about Sigma version, dude, that was the most funny shit I ever seen. The diagrams that they draw, what the fuck, man? and then we were like, dude, and you see, you remember just now very early in the show, I tell you guys that I want a harder ultimate. It's not because I want to get punished. It's because dude, Sigma version could have been way difficult. If the 5 towers are not always far, what if 5 towers are near? The 6 towers are near, right? What if the 6 towers... Wait, or is it the other way around? I don't remember. 5 towers is far, right? Sigma version?
Oh, Sigma? 5 is far. Yeah, 5 is far.
6 is always near, right? Can you imagine if they have a 5 far and a 6 near pattern? My static actually drew diagram to figure it out. And we even practiced for it. Because during that time... the groups that were ahead of us haven't fully got it past yet. So we were actually practicing for what if there's a 6 far and a 5 near. Dude, let me tell you, man, the amount of permutation there was insane. And then after that day, when I tuned in the MogTalk and then they are drawing the diagram, they were also theory crafting. What if there's a 6 near? Then it has to be done this way. I was laughing my ass off like, dude, this is the funniest shit I ever seen. But that was enjoyable. That was so enjoyable to watch.
Yeah,
that's fun. Yeah, that's
well, here's
fun.
the thing, like
the journey part, bro.
When you're doing those
and again, I forgot to wrap it up. This is why I think Ultimate can be harder. They have shown us quite a lot of mercy, to be honest, even in TOP, even in DSR, even in T. Where are the high error mechanics? I do think that T itself, right, can have the epic of Alexander too. They have a new brand whole set of mechanics. They can make another Alexander, and I hope that they consider it one day. I do think so. The UCOP too, the never-ending coil of Bahamut. You know what I mean? Like I do think that they can do more with even the fights that they already put out.
Do you think?
Yeah.
Do you think the formula is changing? Because if you think about UCOB, like now, if you ever PF it now, it's like you can just crawl. You can continue learning mechanics over and over again if you can crawl.
Yeah,
you know. And then
I mean that one also eats into a savage discussion, right? I do think that personally. I mean, I see where you are going with the question. I personally do not like when you are able to still learn mechanic when you fuck up. Needhawk is an example. If you get a damage down, you don't clear the face, sure, but you see enrage. I don't like that. I feel like if a mechanic gets fucked up, you should die right there because you don't deserve it. Now, if I were to be a little bit more lax, I would say that you maybe see one more mechanic. I don't think that you getting hit by, say, a damage down and still able to see all the way to enrage 5%, 30% enrage, I don't think that's something that they should consider. But that's what they are doing. And Yoshi P himself also say that, you know, they are making fight this way so that even if you fucked up, you get punished, but you're still able to learn. I mean, he himself already acknowledged that this is the way they are going. But I personally think, like Gordius, if you fail the checks for the Hand of Pain, you should never get to learn the Tornado phase and the Slime phase. And if you don't meet the DPS check for the Tornado Slime phase, which was really fucking difficult back then you don't deserve to see Cascade. But nowadays, it doesn't matter, right? Nowadays, it doesn't matter.
Crawling,
right? You limp through, you keep crawling, right? Red Mage is a problem. Combat Rest, Unlimited Combat Rest is a problem. Healer LB3 is a problem. But again, I don't see how they can remove Healer LB3. I don't see how they can remove... I mean, these LB mechanics that they implemented in the Realm Reborn as early as Heavensward, a lot of raiders already say LB mechanic is shit already. How LB cumulative works, how inconsistent LB is, how we don't even like to press LB now. LB is an outdated mechanic, but they double down, they triple down. TOP, they make a whole fucking face out of it. So I just don't think they will ever take it away, right?
Why do people not like to hit LB? It's because they want to do DPS.
Yeah.
That's it.
Oh,
and you got DPS, and nowadays the focus changed already. Nowadays you got DPS, especially physical range. I don't know why. But they like to press LB at some random point. And then when you ask them, why the fuck are you pressing LB? You are a physical range. Oh, because you as a melee don't press it, so I press it to prove a point. No, we don't press it because tank LB and healer LB are more valuable because this game works like that now. Recovery, mitigating, and healer LB are so important, and I still think it's so cheesy for progging any fight that I think it should be gone. But here it is. And because here it is, I guess we play along with it. But to answer your question, right? I think crawling is bad. I think crawling is bad for the game. Raid Mage is a mistake. Raid Mage, unlimited rest is a mistake.
I guess that would, like, if they just completely removed any of that stuff, that would maintain some form of the experience of an old ulti. I think, like,
Savage, at least Savage, right?
Oh, Savage,
at least
Savage.
Yeah.
Because I think, like you said earlier, I think top is gonna be the only ulti that will force, like, what you say is ultimate. Like, if you die, if you die,
it doesn't work. Exactly. Healer LB and Red Mage rest doesn't work at all.
Exactly.
That's why Frosty just now, when he was saying that, TOP will be easy over time. I don't think so. People still need to perfectly execute it.
Maybe not as easy as like UCOB is, right? Not as easy as it will get mildly easier. Because there are a couple situations where someone dies or someone gets a heavy damage down. Like one person gets a heavy damage down.
Fine, right?
And you can kill them, bring them back, and still be able to clear it a lot easier than you were before.
That is fine. What Sausage Man was straight up.
Yeah.
No one pressed a single button. Completely 6 death. Red Mage is a life race. Everybody a healer LB. Like that is a completely different story. Like I think in Ultimate, in Ultimate, I think if you die once, you get a damage down. You still clear the fight. It's just one guy that fucks up. It's fine, right? That is fine. But failing a serious mechanic and yet still able to see the whole fight like that. I think that is unacceptable. Like even for an ultimate. But so far the ultimate has been okay. They don't allow that.
Yeah,
I think so far it's okay.
yeah.
But Savage is definitely they need to look into.
Mhm.
What
My
do you say,
copium
Sausage? Go ahead.
is, yeah. I was just gonna say my copium like for the future is, FF16 took away time from Yoshi P. This
Now it's
incoming
back.
expansion. Surely it comes back. Like we're gonna start seeing good stuff. You know, copium maybe,
Same,
but
I'm with you.
yeah,
I am with you for that one. I believe. I believe. I don't.
hope
I
so.
think this is rock bottom. This has to be rock bottom. We thought. I mean, Shadowbringer at some
I
point
hope
was rock
so,
bottom,
yeah.
but that was
Man.
because of COVID, right? But
It's-
now we
go
don't have
ahead.
COVID anymore. But I
Yeah.
do think that Final Fantasy 16 is the key factor why Endwalker becomes like that. So the last two expansion we got unforeseen circumstances, and then we got Final Fantasy 16. 7.0 it should be clean. If 7.0 they still fucked up, you know, now I think everybody is looming in gloom and is thinking that, man, what is happening to 14? 14 has become bad. I do think that, you know, what Zepla says, what Zeno says, what every one of us says about the game, I think it holds some weight. Whether you like the game or not, whether you are a Yoshi
Right.
PC or not, you need to accept it that it is what it is right now. But I do think that 7.0 with all these distraction go, there's no way Endwalker will be anything worse than Shadowbringer, you know. And I still think again copium, we might see 3 ultimate at some point. Maybe not next expansion, but
please,
because they still owe us one. They didn't say it was cancelled. They say it was delayed.
So I
Still
mean, it could be
coping.
just delayed indefinitely, and like there always
Yeah, it
one,
can be.
right? And so and that one just keeps getting pushed constantly. But I will say, in this whole discussion, content creators and veteran players are the ones that are feeling the most pain out of everything. With what we're saying, Endwalker's at rock bottom. To me, it's like taking a 5-star restaurant and then for a week or so it's a 4-star restaurant to me. And people who are going there for the first time to that restaurant probably going to have a great experience, but the people who are going to that restaurant all the time, they're like, this is kind of getting old or bland or something else.
Exactly.
I wish they would spice it up a
Perfect
little
example.
bit more. And then later we're hoping it gets back to a 5-star restaurant again, but we know it's a 4-star restaurant. And so I feel like some of the language that we use when we're talking about it confuses people, and they think it's WoW, which turned to complete trash a couple of times. And had just
They just
miserable
think that
expansions.
now this is the one that I cannot accept, is when they think that we are farming engagement. They think that we are saying it just because it's the in thing to say. And then because we play the game too much, because our life depends on it. Oh, you are a Final Fantasy 14 streamer. Ha ha ha. Now 14 has no content. Now you realize that you have nothing to do, huh? Go play something else. No. It has nothing to do with content creation. It has nothing to do with because I'm a 14 streamer. Dude, I like playing this game. I want to play this game as much as I can, as much as I want. I want to get punished. I want to produce a development team to put up fights after fight that makes me more and ball. Not because I need it for money to renovate my kitchen. No, because I want to play this game, because I love this game. I want to do more things in this game. Okay, and right now the criticism about this game is because we are lacking that now at all fronts. Even casual, I think even casual players, I mean, we are also seeing a lot more casual players nowadays. They come and say, you know what? The game seems to be even lacking stuff, even as a casual for me to do. You know what I mean?
Okay. I will say, like, when we're talking about the whole content creation and talking about it, everyone in your chat's talking about it. Everyone that you're talking about is talking about it, and they want to hear you talk about it. I'm a content creator. This conversation's happening, so you have the conversation. It's not just like I'm trying to take advantage of it. It's because you are in the Final Fantasy 14 community. This is being discussed, and here's your thoughts on it, right? You're not trying to... It's part of being a content creator within this whole sphere is having conversations about what's actively going on in the community. And this discussion is actively going on. So you can't really be mad at people. Now, when people who have no fucking clue what they're talking about make content and they put bullshit everywhere and you can watch their video and see they're really just missing points 100%. Yeah, that's farming. But for Arthars to say anything in regards to Endwalker and its content and everything else, you're being part of the conversation that you in the community that you live in. That's just what it is, right? So I think there's just this whole misperception about, you know, people who are tired of the pog faces on YouTube thumbnails and the come here. I went in the ENJOYYYYYYY and I had sex kind of, titles, things like that. They're trying to. They're tired of seeing that stuff, and they're getting a little bit of, post-traumatic stress disorder, I guess, in regards to what YouTube and everyone else in the algorithm's evolving into. But these conversations are valid. Yeah, I said sex, so that means that this entire thing is part of a YouTube algorithm.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm gonna name the show when I'm done the Ultimate Sex Conversation. All right, and then we're gonna literally get so many more views than we would have if I didn't put sex in that title.
It's my time to shine,
All right, we are like we have been here for quite a while now. I would like to go ahead and present you guys an opportunity for final discussion points, final things that you want to talk about in regards to Ultimate before we start wrapping up the show, because we could probably be here until tomorrow.
Yeah, we can keep going.
I would have a very angry household. So that being said, Sausage, do you have anything? I know you had like a list, you had notes and everything. Do you have some things that you really wanted to go over on the segment?
Well, these are just points that if we talked about, then I would have something to say. But I do have something that we just finished working on. I'm gonna put it in chat.
Sure.
So we now have a card.
Get ready.
Oh, I forgot. Oops. God damn it, man. Want to do it again?
That's what bots are there to stop people from getting gil spammers,
Oh, my bad.
That's all right. Go ahead. Do it again. Do it again.
Okay,
you're permitted. You have literally seconds left. You have to go ahead and press that link.
There you go. Okay, cool. Nice. Okay, so we have a card now. We're trying to reach as many people as possible, and we're trying to see how many people. We're trying to get people caught up with all the ultis before Dawn Trail, which would be like pretty fun because like the more people who we have experience entering the new ulti would be a pretty like neat maybe like an experiment to see like how it goes off. Like we have more ulti players in general. So if you need any help with like learning or progging like where you are now or even clearing the ultis, like feel free. We can help you out from here. We have like we're I guess quote unquote partnered with like Sayori and different communities and stuff. So we have different squads that can help you out. There's a lot of people in here, so if you need any help too, feel free to just sign up. It's like normal. And people are relatively chill here. No one's toxic or whatever. But if people are being toxic, like trust me, like BJ's got a Glock. Like you'll immediately remove them. You'll see.
Did you say you just got a Glock and you'll remove them?
Yeah, he's got a Glock, bro. He's got a ban hammer.
You can't. Oh, okay. Yeah, say that. Just say that instead.
Oh yeah. Never mind. Not actual Glock, bro. My bad.
Yeah, say that
instead. Yeah. We definitely control like the quality of people in here because we don't got time to deal with like those toxic people out there that like to ego stroke themselves,
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, if you need help, we got you. That's all.
All right. Well, I wasn't, expecting a complete closure there, but that's a good like ending, like shout out to everything. Arthars, did you have any points that you wanted to hit? Like just things to talk about Volt. It's fine. You can put that out there. It's good. Now we don't have to worry about it later. It's already there. Arthars, do you have anything else that you wanted to talk about on this show that we might have not had time to dig into too much?
I mean, I think we touched it, but I think the most important, right, is like send a message out to everyone in the 14 community, whether you are casual or end gamer.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Ultimate is a very important content in this game. Like, we are not end gamers just wanting challenge only for ourselves, but we are also taking this as an opportunity to play the game at a high level so that, I get that a lot, right? Especially at NFN Fest, hey, Arthars, you are the reason why I do Ultimate because of DSR. What's your DSR Pro? I get so much positive stuff regarding DSR, right? So I do think that, please understand that Ultimate is also a content. Okay, I'm not doing this because I'm a content creator. I want to get, thousands, 10,000 of views or money involved. No, it's like I want people to, even you raid or not, but even if you just RP in this game, even if we just do casual stuff, you just craft in this game, I want to let you know that Ultimate is a content that everybody come together and it's like an event, it's like a festival. Final Fantasy 14 player and even non-Final Fantasy 14 player come in and check out our game, and then you can be proud to say that, hey, you know what? That's our developers right there. Hey, you know what? That is our raiders right there. You know what I mean? These are our content creators out there. This is my friend out there. This is my static out there. This is our fellow warrior of light out there doing the stuff. And then you look at the developer making a good fight. You look at music being obviously high quality as usual. Visually, graphic, everything is awesome. It's such a good journey. You know what I mean? And please understand that when we want a third ultimate, when we want ultimate, we want better ultimate, it is not just for us. It is for the entire game. It is for the developers. It is for Yoshi P to when he sell the game to you guys, he's got the easiest thing to sell you. You also got the hardest thing to sell you. Ultimate is a whole package. It's a very important part of this game. And then you can see, Sausage, having event, community, lots of people that, maybe didn't have the luxury to do hardcore proc. But at some point down the road, whether it's months, weeks, years, still eventually, still playing the game and evolve into an ultimate. I've seen a lot of people, and I'm pretty sure you guys have seen a lot of people. I mean, look, even Frosty here, right? Even Frosty here, a machinist paladin main in Heaven's Word, into now doing POP. You know what I mean? You can see that people are trying. You can see that people are progressing. That's MMORPG. And Ultimate, I think, provides that. Because in this game, there isn't much. There really isn't much longevity. Story can only be this much. Story is only this little, right? But PvE content. I guess before I encourage anyone to do Ultimate, I think that anyone who play this game past 1 or 2 expansion, 3 to 4 years, I think at some point you should be looking into doing Savage, because Savage is not difficult, right? Savage is a pure bone. You can really 100% pug it without any friends or without any static. I do think that PvE content in this game is a Final Fantasy game. Final Fantasy game PvE is very important. And even the standalone Final Fantasy game, you're looking at, bosses that, you go through the story, great, and then you fight a real hard boss. I mean, Final Fantasy 14 did have that. Shinryu, for example, Shinryu destroyed the casuals, man. Steps of Faith.
Yeah.
Steps of Faith destroyed the casual. We do have that. But now they took it away, fine. But optionally, it's still there in Savage, and then eventually from there to Ultimate, there's clearly a community out there. Again, big kudos to people like Sausage and Sauri and people that make this happen. Do have a look at it, jump into the MMO experience, right? I know you've been playing Final Fantasy for the last 5 years, 10 years. I know your FC is empty. I know no one in your FC talks to one another. I know that your cross-link shell is dead as fuck. I know your only cross-link shell use is only for cross-hunt. I know that you have no people to talk to, right? Now, through Ultimate, through Savage, there are people that actually are dedicated and want to make things happen. So, yeah.
And I will emphasize, seriously, if you want to do content, don't just say no one's doing it, it's dead. Find a community. You can go do BA right now. You can go do DRS. You could do PvP. And all of that involves getting into a community and doing it with other people and getting to know other people. And that's not different at all for Ultimate too. If you want that MMO experience, you want to be able to be playing with people and having those interactions, find the community for it and do it. There's minimum eye level communities I think out there too, right?
Oh really?
Yeah,
wow.
I think so. I think there's whole sets of anything that could be kind of a challenge. There's people who are dedicated to doing it. But this game is unique, and I think that I don't think there's a lot of other MMOs that have Discord communities and people outside of the game making stuff happen as much as Final Fantasy 14 does.
Yeah, I can tell you right now, in World of Warcraft, there is no Mythic Park community. Nada, don't exist.
Really? Okay.
It is like I will say this a couple of expansion before. It is impossible to do Ultimate in PM, and here I am. Again, proven wrong, right? Like in World of Warcraft, it is impossible for you to do Mythic Raid. It is impossible. So Final Fantasy 14, and personally, again, maybe biased, maybe not, but after experiencing both, experiencing Mythic WoW in post-clear non-world first nerfed version versus Ultimate where I'm doing, on day one and Final Fantasy don't nerf bosses. It's usually just job adjustment. Those are not, they didn't nerf the fight. They just improved the quality of other aspect of the game, right? Like World of Warcraft, right? Despite it being in my books, individually, I think logistically is way harder. Imagine managing 25 people. Imagine managing 25 people, getting the right roster, making sure that they all have enough alts, do splits 200 times, and then have a WoW loss analysis, and then have weak aura programmers. Imagine that.
Yeah.
Versus getting 7 other people just to do ultimate. And then I think that it's easier to organize. There's a good community and people doing it behind the scene. And then it's still harder in my books, harder than Mythic Grade in terms of boss mechanic, individually tackling mechanic on the individual standpoint, or your personal homework. I still think ultimate is the hardest. So like I think this game has so much. It's not okay. When I say this game, scrap that.
It's okay.
This community has people like that willing to take the lead and make it happen. Final Fantasy 14 itself didn't do that. Friend list is dog shit.
Yeah.
Mock letter is shit. The FC system is garbage. The crossbow link shell maybe marginally can say is useful, but the community make it happen.
Yeah,
I don't think
100%.
other games have that much.
The community,
have more people like that make it happen.
The community builds content for this game. There is no doubt about that at all.
Yes.
The community is the world race happens because the community wants it to happen. The developers did nothing.
Agreed.
I put a spotlight on it. That's all I did. It was there. I just put a spotlight on it, and more people saw it. That was it. And I don't know how I put a spotlight on it, but I did because I made a spreadsheet.
Because there was a need. There was a demand. But no one wants to, So we are ever grateful for you to do it. Yeah, I'm serious. Yeah, I don't think I told you at FanFest a lot of time already, Frosty. I think you sell yourself too short. You have no idea the impact you did for our scene. Yeah,
super important, dude.
We're getting the fuck out of that conversation. Anyway, so that being said, you guys have been fantastic on this show. Arthars, you've been we're almost at 300 episodes, and I even took big breaks from doing this show. I'm going to try to be doing a lot more of these, but before I do my sign-offs and everything else I was actually about to get into, I need to stop myself. I want to actually give the mic back over to Sausage here so people know where to find Sausage, and same for Arthars, but we'll start with Sausage first.
Okay. Just one more thing I wanted to say. Like I said earlier, there's something for everyone in ulti. If you're new or you're casual, there's always an ulti that you can start with. If you're like really hardcore and sweaty, there's always something to start with. And if you are kind of scared to even start, just know that that's a really good goal to have. And trust me, it is worth it if you give it a shot. If you want to find us, do I post the card again?
It's pinned. It's pinned.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, if you want to find us, all the information is there, like our socials and like our Discord especially. That's where we set everything up. But it's mostly for people who are, like if you just want to get into it, or if you're struggling, and you yourself, like I said earlier, if you yourself you feel that you're putting in that work and you're studying and you think you can do it, then we can help you. We can help you there. None of it is paid. We don't do this shit for money either. Like this is we do this shit because
out of curiosity. Since now you touch the topic, Sausage, out of curiosity, right? How much? Okay. You see nowadays like Merc service is very popular in every data center already, right? You know how people is like paying 4 million for all loot rights for P12S, for example, especially like early weeks. Just out of curiosity, do people offer like? I mean, I've seen a few myself already, but since you're more into the park scene, I want to ask, right? What is the average? If okay, let's start with DSR. How much is DSR worth if somebody were to pay Gil for a clear in DSR? How much is it?
I'm gonna be real. I've only had one experience that someone offered to pay us to help them prog. Only one experience, and like, oh my god, they were like, oh, I'll pay like 40 mil. This isn't top. I'll pay 40 mil each. I'm like, holy crap, dude.
That's pretty ridiculous.
You're willing to pay that much? Are you kidding me? That's insane.
I mean, that's a lot more than I expect.
Yeah, right?
Okay, what about UCOP? Now we go back to the other spectrum. What about UCOP? How much is UCOP worth these days?
I'm gonna be real, dude. Like, I personally, I don't know the prices at all. I know people who do, but for me, I have no clue, dude. I stay
Because
away from all that stuff. That's a different market.
recently I was playing in China, right? So that in China, dude, merc service in China is insane. Even on
Really?
day one, whatever. So like for example, P12S, they sell all loot rights P12S for 4 to 6 million per person. So then when I saw it so many, dude, great. I'm not sure whether you guys know, the China Final Fantasy 14 community is massive. They got 4 data center. They have no data server. They have no data center visit yet. They got 4 data center. Prime time each data center is 300 PF.
Wow.
Really? What the hell? Really? We have
Even
never
in
seen that
JP, right?
before.
Even in JP, right? 3 data center, the most I ever seen before server cross data center happened, right? I was only seeing 150 to 250. And like on Mana, you know, sometimes you go 300. And then after the merge, we seen 350 to 500 tops. But now in China, right? One data center has 300. So if you combine
These
them,
are on patch days,
you're talking
right?
about 1,000. Yeah, but no.
Oh my God.
What I provide the number is also on patch day for any EU. How many EU PF do you have on patch day? Light and Chaos
I don't
combined.
even know,
Maybe
yeah.
150. NA maybe 200. Now I'm being generous. Fucking hell, man. China got 1,000. That's how much people they have. It's insane.
That is pretty insane.
You know, so
Yeah.
so when I
that's a
look at
lot,
the
dude.
when I look at the sale, right? I ask them. So just out of curiosity, since you guys have so many people that pay guild for clips, right? How much is UCorp these days? They told me UCorp is about 500k. I'm like, what the fuck?
Jesus.
Who even cares? Yeah, so UCorp PF in China is 500 guild, 500k guild.
So-
That's it.
What the hell?
You know what's funny? When I had the conversation with the static from China, they were asking about, do you think top is party findable, right? And that's probably part of why they were asking, is because of the merc stuff that happens over there as well with Gil.
Oh.
That
Yeah,
kind
it's
of
insane.
adds up a little bit. But no, I will say, I can tell you, Savage for sure. I was watching that the first month. I saw parties up to 25 mil per person for P12S loot.
Ooh.
That's 175 mil. Next
Whoa.
time, I'm 100% only doing merc parties. And I will, like, the first
Dude,
couple
I
weeks,
am doing
that's
merc.
it.
I mean, look, Frosty.
I don't need gear.
Like
don't
I
need
told
gear to
you,
do
right?
it.
If you want to like continue to be consistent in terms of scheduling or having content on the stream, PFing Savage is content, right?
Yeah.
Since we are already doing PF, since we are already helping, what stopping us in making a few quick buck on the process? You know what I mean? That's another incentive, right? Yeah.
Dude.
Yeah.
Dude,
Because I'm going to get the
plus-
gear, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
And it's
I don't care.
sanctioned. They already put it in TOS. Merc service are fine. Paying guild is not RMT.
Mm-hmm.
It's sanctioned. Yeah.
Dude, I have a friend who does that a lot. I mean, he I don't think he plays with the project. But he says that even in merc parties, some people like they don't like the quality of play is very different too, man. Like, and I don't even know if it's in a good or bad way. Like some people,
It's a bad way. I tell you
Yeah.
right now, it's a bad way. Merc
God.
party are the worst party. They feel the part. Some people didn't even play healer before, but because there's a spot in there, and then they can make 2 million, they join in. They have no fucking idea what they are doing.
yeah,
But that's content. That is content.
that's content though. That's content.
within
bro.
100%.
That's free content. Yeah.
That's a whole nother conversation. All right. We got to wrap up. All right, Arthars,
Okay.
tell everyone where they can find you.
Twitch.tv/Arthars. You can also find me next week at EU Fan Fest if you are there. I don't know a lot of EU content creators. I never get a chance to like, do stuff in in EU server, or even PF in that aspect. So I don't expect to have like a lot of people that know me on EU Fan Fest. But hey, you can find me on EU Fan Fest. I will be hanging around a certain ball guy. So if you see him, you will most likely see me.
It's going to
Hope to see you guys there. Yeah,
It's gonna be
and
insane.
on Twitch, you can catch me on twitch.tv/Arthars. Yeah, the NA Fan Fest was live for
it's going to be the same.
I'm so glad. I'm so glad to
Yeah.
finally meet you in person, man. Frosty, really, really.
It was awesome. I wish we had more time. 100% wish we did. But I mean, that's just kind of how FanFest goes. But I am telling you, you might not know a lot of the content creators, but the content creators know you.
I just want to hang out with my fellow
yeah.
42-year-old streamers, Zepla,
Yeah. Yeah. All right, guys, this has been a wonderful show. I wish we could do it a lot longer. You know, we'll probably, once we have more information from FanFest, we're going to have some future conversations. There could be, we might have discussions on Ultimate, who knows, depending on what information comes out. There's a lot of stuff from FanFest that we'll be learning, and we'll have a show on that next weekend, too. Right when you guys are going to sleep and everything, we'll be talking about all the stuff on MogTalk. So,
Hell yeah.
we'll see how that stuff goes. For this channel in particular, we are still working on top. We are in P5, touching Omega. Trying to clean up Sigma, touching Omega in P5. So we're getting there. We're almost there. So if you want to check that out, we do that on Sunday.
That's the hardest, yeah.
Yeah, it's tough.
Yeah, yo.
Sunday, Monday, and Thursday nights, starting at 7:30 p.m. PDT. And so if you want to check that progress, you might catch us when we're trying to do a clear, because once we get Omega down, we just have the fun of P6, and I think the energy when you get the P6 is going to carry us to a clear not too long after getting to it, because it's just an exciting point.
Hell yeah, you got this, bro.
Yeah. So we're there. If you guys want to join that journey, feel free to. We also have regular streams throughout the week. You know, we might be changing up stuff. We're gonna have more talks, like we had the talk with Zeppela earlier. We had a talk with the Greek mythology author not too long ago. We're gonna try to do more of those. This is the last month for us to try for Partner Plus. We didn't get the July check, but we're trying for the October check. If we get October, then we hit the Partner Plus program. So if you guys are loaded, you got money, feel free to sub and get us past October. That'd be cool. No worries if you don't, but just letting you know it's there, guys. If you like this MogTalk, you want more MogTalks, and you're like, man, I could sub real easy, at least for this month, hit it, and then you're supporting MogTalk.
Support Frosty.
Oh shit, am I disconnecting? Hold on. Can you guys hear me okay?
No. You're like stuttering a bit, but we can hear you. Yeah.
Okay, I think it had a hiccup. But we're okay. I hope so. We're ending the stream. It sucked to just disconnect right on the last bits of seconds to talk here. But you guys have been fantastic again. Thanks for coming on the show. Thank you everybody for watching. And we are going to do a quick raid, hang out for a raid. Oh my god, it's hitting 0. It is disconnecting completely. Can you guys even hear me?
Oh, now it is. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh man, that sucks. All right, hold on. I'm gonna wait for it to come back a little bit.
Oh damn.
I mean, luckily it's only now, you know.
Yeah. We did like 2 hours. Did we do 2? Oh, almost 3 hours.
Almost. Yeah. All right. Let's. I'm gonna find somebody to raid. Hold on. Let me type it in here. Who to raid? In case you guys can't hear me. Maybe you can hear me.
I can, yeah.
Yeah, we can.
All right, tell me who to raid real quick, and we'll do that. But I'm gonna go ahead and go to the the cutting screen, the credits. Everybody say bye and wave, because I can hear you perfectly fine. Say bye.
Bye.
See you later, guys.
Bye, chat.